Detroit Red Wing Hockey is brought to you by AMC, your Metro Detroit AMC dealer, featuring the American Eagle. And by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Peschke and the all-new Peschke Great American Premium line of products. And by Little Caesars, a winner any way you slice it. And by Bank of the Commonwealth, trying hardest to help.
Tonight, from the Checker Dome in St. Louis, the Detroit Red Wing Hockey Club brings you the game between the Detroit Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues. And we say hi again, everybody. Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel greeting you from our telecast location here in St. Louis. And Sid, since last we have seen this club in action, the Blues have a new coach, and they've turned, well, they really haven't. We did see Red Berenson as coach in the one game played, but they have really turned things around.
Well, they've turned it around. They're within 2 points of taking over first place in their division. They have had a terrific turnaround, Bruce, because here they are just playing .500 hockey, have, I think it's 56 fewer goals scored on them than they had at the same time last year. They have scored 12 more goals, and they have 3 more points right now than they had during the entire season last year. So this is a pretty good hockey club the Wings are going to face tonight.
But the Red Wings have begun to put things together a little bit, too, and one of the big reasons is their rookie, a fellow who could well be the Rookie of the Year this season, and we speak of Mike Foligno. The young man in the last 8 games has scored, his last 3 games has scored 8 goals and assisted on a couple of others. And he now is the leading rookie scorer in the National Hockey League, and he's been a good one.
Well, he's a good kid. He's going to be a great hockey player. He has all the moves of a good hockey player. He's tough, hard-nosed. He has terrific hands. He gets the puck away so fast. And it wouldn't surprise me that Mike Foligno will go on to be a 40-goal scorer.
And one of the fellows the Red Wings are going to have to watch tonight, his name is Bernie Federko, and he, again, has been one of the strong members of this St. Louis Blue hockey team. Bernie with 62 points, 21 goals, and 41 assists on the season thus far. He was a rookie 3 seasons ago. He continues to be good.
Well, he's a good kid. He's their leading scorer, Bruce. And it's funny, he is the only 20-goal scorer on this hockey club right now, but they have balanced scoring. And they're, as I say, a tough team. But Federko is their leader, and they look for him to keep going.
Sid, you talk about balanced scoring. It's something the Red Wings haven't had in their last 2-3 games. The one line of Foligno, along with Dale McCord, has really come into his own again, and rookie John Ogrodnik have accounted for the last 8 goals the Red Wings have scored. Matter of fact, they've scored all the goals in the last 2 games. They have accounted for 11 of the last 12. So now we await the appearance again of the Nedomansky and Mahavlich and LeBreton line to break out, as we know they can, and there we'll have a little balance.
Yes, that line has to start scoring, and Errol Thompson, who is having a real big year, he's got to chip in with a goal or 2. But I would like to see Paul Woods and Bolduc and some of these other fellows start getting a goal or 2, because every time one of those fellows that are playing on the 4th line can score a goal, it just takes some pressure off the big lines.
Well, we'll see just exactly what they do. We'll be back with the opening face-off in a moment.
Look, Mom, cars are getting stuck.
Don't worry.
Introducing the American Eagle from American Motors.
That's Dr. Wayne.
Mrs. Green's baby is due, and I'm stuck.
The only family compact with automatic 4-wheel drive. Eagle's 4-wheel drive automatically directs power for traction, even to do this.
I hope Mrs. Green's baby won't look like Mr. Green.
The Eagle has landed on all 4s at American Motors.
This Bud's for everybody who puts in a hard day's work.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
If there's one thing you can depend on, it's that your favorite glasses will break, one way or another. Which means, one way or another, you wind up with a collection of unfavorite glasses. Now you can replace your glass menagerie, because now you can get beautiful French lead crystal at Bank of the Commonwealth with every deposit of $50 or more in any savings account. So come to the Bank of the Commonwealth today and add a touch of glass.
How do you make strong, long-lasting automobile parts? Higher strength steels from National Steel. How can you get weight out of cars without cutting strength? Diet steels from National Steel. How do you fight rust? Pre-coated steels from National Steel. Higher strength steel, Diet Steel, corrosion-resistant steel. Answer steels from National Steel. Answering the toughest automotive challenges.
And a little bit of ceremony going on prior to the start of the game relative to the Easter Seal collection. And Bernie Federko, the captain of the St. Louis Blues, is out there now accepting an award, I guess it is. And you can see one of the poster children down on the ice. This game just a few moments away from getting underway. The Red Wings, as Sid mentioned, are facing a team that if they win this one tonight and if Chicago should lose at Toronto, would move into a tie for first place in the Smythe Division of the National Hockey League, so it emerges as a big game for St. Louis. I was just checking over today, this being the first game that is played by the Red Wings in the month of February, and there's that youngster with the captain of the St. Louis Blues, Bernie Federko, skating him out at center ice and back again. Photographers into action. In the month of January, the Red Wings played 14 games, and of the 14, they won 8, they lost 6. And St. Louis likewise played 14 games. They too won 8, but they lost only 3. The other 3 ended up in the tie department. And both teams are coming off 4-3 wins over the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Red Wings beat Pittsburgh 4-3 in their game played at Joe Louis Arena last Thursday. The night before that, Pittsburgh was at home to the St. Louis Blues, and the Blues beat them by that same 4-3 score. The Red Wings' road record has become a very respectable 9-13-5. They have won 5 of their last 7 on the road. Matter of fact, they're playing an even 500 hockey at home now, and not far under that on the road.
Talking about St. Louis, Bruce, a lot of credit has to go to the boy on the nets, this Mike Liut.
And now here, prior to the start of the game, our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave a proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Well, the 3 officials working the hockey game tonight. Al Plajoun will be the referee, Bob Luther and Randy Mitten, the 2 linesmen. And in the goals, respectively, for the Detroit Red Wings, Rogie Vachon on the right of your screen, and the young man, Sid, you were talking about a moment ago, Mike Liut, on the left.
Well, he has a terrific record. He's a 3.1 average, and he's been playing at a 294 clip in the last 10 or 12 games. Everybody around St. Louis were talking, saying that if it hadn't been for Mike Liut, this club wouldn't be up being a contender. They say that he has just been outstanding during this reign that where Berenson came in and took over as coach.
Well, the big line for St. Louis on to start the hockey game, so Bobby Crom has started a checking line with 2 big fellas, John Hillworth and Jim Korn on either side. of Dennis Polonich. Puck driven out to center ice. That's Ed Kia with it. Shot it back in. The play way offside, and Polonich gave a bump to Sutter. And the two of them go down, and now Maxwell gets into it, and we get this going in a hurry. Dennis Polonich really wrapped Sutter with the play already whistled down offside, and Sutter came right back at him. And the referee, Lejeune, I think he's going to wave the two of them off. Don Hillworth got into it in a hurry.
I think Dennis stumbled a little bit, Bruce, just as he went to run him in the boards.
Two of them are still eyeing one another as they head over to the penalty box. So with the very quick penalties, we shall be back to see what happens after we pause now for this message. We paused, but that was all that happened. Let's take a look at it once again and see exactly, Sid, what happened. The play was whistled down right here,
He's offside. Dennis does run him in, and then he stumbles, though, and he falls, and when Sutter fell on top of him, Sutter was the first one that tried to push his head back down through the ice. Then if you notice Maxwell and those fellows coming in.
So the Wings may have got a bit of a break out of it. Polonich gets 2 for boarding, and then Sutter got 2 for roughing, both of them coming at 16 seconds. So each team thus plays short a man. The Wings now have Willie Huber and Greg Jolly back along the defense, using 2 forwards, Dale McCord and Mike Foligno. Larry Patey. He moves up front now with Ralph Klassen, the 2 forwards for St. Louis. Ed Kia back along the defense, and he's paired there with Jack Braunscheidel. Face off in the center ice zone. Court won the draw, but it's dumped beyond Willie Huber. He has to hustle back for it. Giving chase to him was Crombie. It's Mike Crombie over on the other wing. This now Willie Huber pass right out in front of the Detroit goal. And the Blues themselves cleared it back out center ice. Kia has it there. Being watched by Dale McCourt. Braunschweiger clears it ahead for Crombie. He lost it. Here's McCourt almost taking it away. Ed Key at center ice for St. Louis. Each team short a man. Greg Jolly lays it back now to Foligno. Here's Mike back over the line, trying to work around Braunscheidel. Took the shot, hit the side of the net with it. Cleared along the boards. Came back toward Greg Jolly. Jolly dumped it back into the corner. Ed Kia goes in after it. The opposite side for Braunscheidel. Now he cleared it off the boards. Patey was dumped there by Greg Jolly, and at his own blue line is Willie Huber. A minute 7 left in the penalties to Polonich and Sutter. Pass from Court knocked down, following up is Jolly. Greg Jolly sending it off now to Willie Huber. Huber right at his own blue line, giving it now to Jolly again. Ahead to Dale McCourt. Now McCourt laid it to Huber. It was kicked back out center ice. McCourt has it there. Here's Greg Jolly. Jolly's pass taken now by Foligno. It rolled off his stick. Crombie hands it back to Braunscheidel again. Mike Zook up ahead of him, but Braunscheidel turns it back to the line. That's Wayne Babbage, checked center ice by Jolly, and a half a minute remaining in the penalties. Braunscheidel moving out again. Two of the Blues on the move. This is Wayne Babbage. Babbage sent it off to the side of the net, and Vachon drops it there for Barry Long. Long's pass tipped out center ice. Danny LeBratton drops it back. Now it's picked up by Reed Larson. Larson moves into the St. Louis zone. Dumped the shot. Here's Danny LeBratton with a rebound. And grabbing that, Liut, as the Wings had the great chance. Now Rick Lapointe, center ice pass. Babbage picks it up, trying to go around Long. And he went over Long, and there's going to be a penalty coming up to the Detroit defenseman. He'll go off, and the Red Wings now will play short a man. We'll be back in just a moment.
First, Little Caesars introduced Pizza Pizza. 2 medium pizzas for the price of 1. And you ate it up. Now, Pizza Pizza goes all the way. Small, medium, and large. For any size appetite, any size wallet.
Mushrooms.
Because you can feed a lot of hungry mouths.
Pepperoni.
Without spending a lot of money.
Pizza. Double cheese, double cheese, double cheese, double cheese.
Little Caesars Pizza Pizza. 3 good ways for pizza that's twice as good.
Here's a case where Wayne Babbage tries to go around the outside of of Long, and Long he stumbled and fell, and he caught his hand on his foot. Babbage goes down. And Alf Lejeune, the referee, decided to call a penalty, so the Wings are short-handed now.
The other penalties are over just 4 seconds ago, so St. Louis is at full strength, the Wings short a man. Peter Mahovlich won the face-off. Willie Huber lifted it right up into the crowd, right into the Detroit bench, as a matter of fact. So the face-off will come back into the Detroit end, off to the left of Jim Rutherford. This broadcast is made possible by the Detroit Hockey Club and the NHL, is intended for the private use of our viewing audience. Any other reproduction or use of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without the express written consent of the Detroit Hockey Club and the NHL. The announcers for the broadcast are employed by the Detroit Hockey Club and approved by TV 50. There's a quick shot by Zook right from the face-off, wide of the goal. That's Perry Turnbull. He lost it. Picking it up now, Errol Thompson, bringing it out center ice. He was checked right there, in along the boards by Braunscheidel. They hold it, along with Blair Chapman, and the face-off takes place at center ice. They used up 16 seconds of the penalty to Detroit's Barry Long, off for tripping at 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
There's Errol Thompson, a 21-goal scorer. Got off to a tremendous start here this year. He's back on a line now where possibly doesn't get as many scoring opportunities, playing on a makeshift line, really, the
checking line. Reed Larson firing it off the boards, down the ice. It goes in behind Liud. He stops it there, and coming back after it will be Braunscheidel. 1.5 minutes remaining in the St. Louis power play. Here now, Mike Zook coming out center ice. Zook, the left side pass picked up by Sutter. Brian Sutter turned away from one check. Played it off the side of the net. That's Federico going in behind the Detroit goal. Going in after him. There's loose out in front, and Zook took a shot, and Mahovlich, I believe it was, got a stick on that, and it ended up in the crowd in behind the Detroit goal.
That shows how important it is for Mahovlich to get that big long reach and just put that stick out. He touched Zook's shot before he could get it away, and up it goes in the crowd. Mahovlich just swung around, went off his stick. He didn't get a chance to get on the net at all.
Boy, the Philadelphia Flyers are leading Pittsburgh Penguins 4-0 in that game at Pittsburgh tonight, and the Penguins continue to have trouble. There's a shot by Zook way wide. Errol Thompson tips it out center ice. Peter Mahovlich tried to work around Zook, and he couldn't do it. This is Chapman, number 14. 1 minute left in the Detroit penalty. Federico. He dropped it back for Braunscheidel. Carried into the Detroit zone, offside. Pittsburgh Penguins, Sid, have really been having their problems recently. In their last 7 games, they won just that one. That was over the Boston Bruins, right in Boston, no less. But they've lost 6. They're behind 4-0 at home tonight to Philadelphia.
And it's surprising, Bruce, because they did have injuries, but they're pretty well back at full strength. I talked to Baz when they were in Detroit, Bastien, and I asked him about his goaltending, because they traded Dennis Herron away, one of the real top goaltenders, and they've gone with kids, but he seemed to be satisfied with his goaltending.
Now the play back at the St. Louis blue line. This is the former Red Wing Rick LaPointe. Sean steered it into the corner. Babbage overskated it there. Paul Woods going deeper into his own zone. Worked away from Babbage's check. Lost the puck. Willie Huber dumps it now to Tommy Bergman, who's on for the first time since November the 7th. That's when he broke his hand in a fight with... Here's now Paul Woods carrying over the line. Drops it off for Dale McCourt to Woods. And coming across the goal net, the Utes stopped him cold. Oh, what a chance for a shorthanded goal. 20 seconds remaining in the penalty. Play goes deep into the corner. That's Tommy Bergman playing it over on the right side. Woods trying to work away, couldn't do it. Maxwell held it in. Taking it in along the boards, Blake Dunlop, number 19. It comes back to Brian Maxwell. Now at the line, that's Babbage with a shot at the side of the net. Kept in by Maxwell. Now the penalty is over. Barry Long is back on the ice. The puck held to the boards. Still no whistle, so the referee Lejeune let them play it out. Strapped in Paul Woods' uniform. Face-off stays to the right of the Detroit goal.
Just what we were talking about at the top of the show, Bruce. If they could get goals from Paul Woods. Paul Woods made a terrific pass to McCourt. McCourt made the pass right back at the corner of the goal crease, and Paul Woods whacked at it, but Mike Liut moved the foot over and made a terrific save.
Well, you talked about him. He's been a good one.
Well, they're comparing him here in St. Louis with years when they were first division or first place club with Glenn Hall and those fellas, so he has played well.
Played 4.5 minutes of the first period. There's no score. St. Louis didn't get a shot on goal on that power play. They haven't had any. The Wings have had 3. Now the line of Ogrodnik, McCourt, and Foligno is on. Puck dumped ahead, picking it up Ogrodnik down the wrong wing. He's got McCourt coming in with him. It went in behind the St. Louis goal. Ogrodnik trying to pull loose. He's pinned in along the boards by Patey. Kia got into it. His play held out, though, by Dale McCourt. McCourt in the corner. It goes now to Foligno, back on the line. Reed Larson dumped the shot, and that's deflected up into the crowd. Off the stick of defenseman Neil Komodowski. We've got the out-of-town board, which shows the Chicago Blackhawks leading Toronto 3-1. In the other games, Atlanta 1-0 against Hartford. That's in Atlanta. Philadelphia leading Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh 4-0. Buffalo's at the Island to play the New Yorkers there. 1-0 Buffalo. And the New York Rangers at Washington leading that game 2-1. This afternoon, Boston beats Quebec 7-2. And Liud again grabs that loose puck right out in front of his own goal. Well, Tuesday night, this young man will be in action, Sid.
Yes, for the second time in 3 years. Pretty good record to be chosen by the coach of the All-Star team to perform in front of his home crowd.
He'll be the Red Wings' lone representative of the All-Star team when the game is played Tuesday night at the Joe Louis Arena. Mike Foligno lost the draw there to Patey. Komodowski in behind his own net. His pass comes out to Patey. Now Larry Patey dumping it deep into the Detroit zone. Coming out of the net. Vachon knocked it away. Reed Larson's pass deflected into McCourt. Now Ogrodnik. Ogrodnik has Larson up ahead of him. Larson takes it over the line. Here's Larson. Larson put it right out in front, and Patey had Foligno, or rather Ogrodnik, all tied up. And there'll be a penalty coming up to Patey. He doesn't like it. But the Red Wings now will have the power play opportunity, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Look, Mom, cars are getting stuck.
Don't worry. Introducing the American Eagle from American Motors.
That's Dr. Wayne. Mrs. Green's baby is due. I'm stuck.
The only family compact with automatic four-wheel drive. Eagle's four-wheel drive automatically directs power for traction, even to do this.
I hope Mrs. Green's baby won't look like Mr. Green.
The Eagle has landed on all fours at American Motors.
Reed Larson with a tremendous burst of speed got around the outside of the defense. I think he should have shot the puck. He made the pass across in front of the goal crease, and Patey come back and knocked Ogrodnik down to get a penalty.
Face-off then will be to the left of the St. Louis goal. Now that's Foligno taking it away, sending it back on the line. Huber just did hold it in, but Maxwell intercepted his pass and fires it to length of the ice. Patey went off for tripping at 5 minutes and 32 seconds. St. Louis is one of the best penalty-killing records in the National Hockey League today as Reed Larson comes out with a right-wing pass to Foligno. Foligno dropped it back for Larson. Now Larson charges over the line. Here's Reed Larson going around Hartley Monahan. Laying it back on the line to Ogrodnik. Back it comes in the circle to Larson. Larson, he played it off his skate, and the wing's getting a little too fancy. It came all the way back to the Detroit line. Ogrodnik hands it back to Larson. Reed Larson again having trouble this time with Rolf Klassen. They took it away from him. Monahan, he was checked by Huber, and Foligno gave him a bump. Now Ogrodnik. John Ogrodnik, a long pass. Foligno takes it in. Faked the shot, continued to hold it. He's run in along the boards by Klassen. Puck driven in behind the net. Going after it, Dale McCord. McCord and Ogrodnik. Ogrodnik dug it loose. Playing it back now to Reed Larson. Larson into the corner, but the only man there, Maxwell. Willie Huber went in, covered up on him. Huber tips it away now to Dale McCord. McCord in the circle. McCord fired the shot. The save made by Liu. And Klassen dumps it down the ice. 35 seconds remaining in the penalty. Now that's Larson turning again. Reed Larson dumping it ahead, digging after it. Danny LeBratton, he picks it up. Here's LeBratton, took the shot, and he shot it wide. Then Huber missed it. It bounced away from him. Coming back down the ice, Mike Zook. Here's Zook moving in with Crombie. Zook took the shot, and Vachon had to go low and block that. Penalty has 10 seconds remaining. Braunscheidel back along his own blue line, dumping it into the Detroit zone for Willie Huber. Now here's Tommy Bergman with it. Playing it out to center ice. The penalty is over. Patey's back on. Teams remain scoreless. Tommy Bergman playing it beyond Peter Mahavlich. That's Braunscheidel. Carrying it to the Detroit line. LeBratton has it there. Over on the right side to Nedomansky. Now Big Ned His pass picked off by LeBratton. He's got Mahovlich trailing. Here's LeBratton, but he dumped the puck all the way back out center ice. And over the line now goes Federko. He's got Chapman moving in front. And hitting the back of the goal on the pass. And now there'll be a penalty coming up to Tony Bergman of Detroit as he dumped Chapman out in front of the Detroit goal. So the St. Louis power play coming up. We'll be back in just a moment.
What's the Peschke difference that makes the great American brand great? Well, if you're talking about ham, you're talking about carefully selected lean and firm hams, just full of sweet smoke flavor, lean and firm. That's the quality difference. Great American brand hams from Peschke.
Peschke makes the difference that makes great American great.
Boneless hams are specially featured for $1.38 per pound this week at all Great Scott supermarkets.
A little jam up in front of the net, and Chapman tried to get away from Tommy Bergman, and Tommy got his stick caught in his feet.
With the live action now as the puck just deflected wide of the Detroit goal. The Blues hold it in. It's played back to the line for Braunscheidel. In behind the goal, this is Sutter. Brian Sutter missed it there. Greg Jolly moved in to cover up. Errol Thompson jammed in along the boards. The puck bounces to the corner. Federko has it. He's being checked there by Jolly. The puck came loose. Back on the right point is Zook. Mike Zook dumped it out in front very long, gloved it ahead, and when McCourt plays it, the play is stopped. Bergman off for tripping at 8:05, the time of the penalty. An ace reporter meets a lonely princess. Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn find romance on a Roman holiday. That'll be Bill Kennedy at the movies, and that'll be tomorrow at 1 on TV 50. Red Wings have outshot St. Louis 4-1 at this stage of the game. The Blues with their second power play opportunity. The Wings have had one. The game scoreless. Greg Jolly. Jolly checked by Federko. That's Federko dumping it into the corner. Greg Jolly goes digging in after it. Cleared it, not out. Then he picked it up a second time and does fire at the length of the ice. 1 minute and 10 seconds still to go in the penalty time to Tommy Bergman. He was injured in a game against Edmonton in Detroit when he was in a fight with, trying to remember who it was, Lee Fogelin.
Lee Fogelin, right.
Play right out in front of the Detroit goal. Skip back to the line. Now here's Mike Zook with it. Into the corner it comes to Federko and back on the point to Zook. Mike Zook put it right out in front. Chapman covered there as Peter Mahovlich knocked it away. And Errol Thompson clears it down the ice. 40 seconds remaining in Bergman's penalty. John Braunscheidel in behind his own goal. Now the Blues start out again. Moving up the right side is Babbage. That's Babbage cutting in after it. Babbage put it right out in front. And coming across was Vachon. It cleared into the corner. This is Babbage with it again. Centering pass, Jolly broke it up, kicking away at it. It's held in the Detroit zone. Here's Zook at the blue line. He drove it into the corner. Off the glass, Paul Woods goes digging after it, but it's Federko in behind the Detroit goal. Federko tried to center it. Greg Jolly moved in with him, kicking away at the puck. Jolly went down, and that puck is held up against the boards and very long. Knocked Federko after it. It came back to Woods. The penalty is over as Tommy Bergman came back on. And so there'll be an icing call against Detroit as it was cleared down into the St. Louis zone.
The Blues really haven't had a good power play all year long. They've only scored 28 goals in 177 opportunities. The Wings are 5th best in the league in the power play goals. They've scored 42 goals in 186 opportunities. So,
well, we have both teams back at full strength, and now we have Bobby Crom using again that forward line of Hillworth and Korn on either side of Dennis Polonich. There's a quick shot by Rick Lapointe that cleared over the top of the Detroit goal, and Dennis Polonich takes it. Polonich trying to work around Tony Curry. Stopped there for the moment. Willie Huber came up to help out. Polonich dumped it on the left side to Jim Korn. Korn was checked. Here's Reed Larson with it. Now Larson dropping it back to Korn, and Korn lost it out in front. This is Rick Lapointe. It came back now to Dunlop into the Detroit zone. Larson going after it. Clearing it out on the right wing for big John Hillworth. Wings trapped in their own zone for the moment as now Willie Huber lays it off to Reed Larson. Larson dumps it down the ice. Ryan Maxwell back in his own zone. There is no score in the game. We have 9 minutes to go in the first period. Babbage intercepts Larson. Babbage with a long shot. Vachon kicked it out. It's still in. There's another shot. Knocked away and then grabbed off. As Tony Curry let it go, and Vachon made the big save.
There's a case where the Wings did make a mistake. Reed Larson tried to make a pass in center ice, and this puck was really shot. The rebound comes out and it's fired right back in again, and Rogie is sharp, makes 2 pad saves, then grabs the loose puck right out in the goal crease.
Now Netamansky comes out. He's got Danny LeBreton on the left wing, and Danny Bolduc has moved over to the right side. Bobby Crom changing lines around a little bit now. Barry Long and Greg Jolly back along the Detroit defense. So I imagine Peter Mahavlich will find himself centering perhaps another unit if this works out. Netamansky going to center. Greg Jolly in behind his own goal. Jolly. Good pass ahead to Netamansky. LeBreton on the left wing. Danny's over the line. Dropped it back, but Netamansky couldn't reach it, and it ended up in the St. Louis bench. So the face-off takes place just inside the St. Louis blue line.
Picture of Greg Jolly. He has played outstanding, really. A boy that come back from injury, very steady. He's by far the best puck carrier amongst the wing defensemen. He's very, very good at getting the puck out of his own zone.
Now Peter Mahavlich.
I wish he weighed about 20 more pounds, Bruce. If anything, he's a little on the small side.
Peter Mahavlich comes out now. He centers Netamansky, and Bolduc moved over to the left wing. Puck bounced all the way to the St. Louis goal. That's Komodowski in behind his own net. No score in the game with 8.5 minutes to play in the first period. Puck sent all the way down the ice. They're going to call an icing as Very Long is after it. And the fans and the Blues don't like that. We'll be back in just a moment.
Get ready, Detroit. The 1980 Greater Michigan Boat and Fishing Show is cruising into Cobo Hall, February 2nd through 10th. Don't miss it. There are more boats than ever, and everything's for sale at special show prices you won't find any other time of the year. See the James Bond Moonraker boat, the world's largest canoe, the latest in fishing gear, and so much more. Learn where to fish in Michigan and what you'll need to catch the really big ones. The Big Boat and Fishing Show is at Cobo Hall. Come on, get ready for springtime, February 2nd through 10th.
Bruce Martin, Sid Abel, our producer Marvin Muse, and here at the Checker Dome in St. Louis, where the Red Wings and the Blues have played a scoreless first period thus far. A little more than 8 minutes still to go. This is Blake Dunlop carrying out to center ice. Took the shot wide of the Detroit goal. Reed Larson being chased by Klassen, worked it ahead. Coming out, Peter Mahavlich. On the right side, now that's Netamansky trying to work around Komodowski. A rolling puck hit the side of the net with it. And reaching out and holding it there was the goaltender, and the face-off stays to the left of the St. Louis Blues goal. Well, boys and girls, you be sure to get your free hockey stick at the Red Wing Philadelphia game, the Joe Louis Arena on Saturday, February 9th. It's an afternoon game, 2 o'clock. The sticks are provided by Louisville and will go to the first 2,500 kids, 14 and under, who attend the game. Sid, on the subject of kids, good friend of ours, who acts like one every once in a while, Dr. Milton Cosley, the Red Wing team physician, one of them, is recuperating from surgery in hospital in Detroit, and again we send along certainly our very best wishes for him.
We certainly do. Milton and Doris. I hope Milt's watching the game back at home.
Well, he was going to have that set fixed. He said it wasn't working too good. And I don't know of a much bigger fan than there is in the city of Detroit than the Cosley. The face-off to the left of the St. Louis goal. The Blues won the draw. It was knocked away by Errol Thompson. We have Bolduc now with Woods and Thompson. Puck held in by Errol Thompson. He just failed to work away from Kia. Kia turned around, slid it back to Jim Korn at the Detroit blue line. That's Willie Huber. Now Huber and Korn. Korn dumped it ahead. Errol Thompson. They're still in the Detroit end. Off now to Willie Huber. Here's Huber from center ice with a long shot wide. Taken off the boards by Babbage. Babbage lost it, and then Korn didn't hold it. Coming right back now, that's Zook. Zook took the shot. Vachon deflected it off to the side of the net. Errol Thompson cleared it out on the right wing. Bolduc was checked right there. Moving in to help out again was Korn. Firing it over on the left wing. Errol Thompson picks it up. Now Thompson. Thompson starts Jim Korn out at center ice. Woods trailing. Korn got it over the line. That puck bouncing around, but the Blues will bring it back out. Babbage, center ice. Over on the left wing, carrying into the Detroit zone, Tony Curry. Again, they shoot it wide. Woods takes it off the board. He's got Bolduc moving at center ice. Danny Bolduc. Bolduc gets over the line. Ogrodny came in, couldn't reach it, and now Zook. Over on the left side, that's Turnbull, firing a long shot that Vachon clears away. Jim Korn's pass went behind Dale McCourt, slides into the St. Louis end. Now it's dumped out to center ice. Turnbull carried it back in, being watched by Foligno. Rick LaPointe giving it now to Brian Maxwell. Maxwell shooting it along the boards. Vachon stops it in behind his own goal. Swept it off to the side of the net, put right out in front. There's LaPointe with a shot. That was knocked down, and coming out with it, Ogrodnik. He's got McCourt with him. Here's Ogrodnik. His pass to Dale McCourt. He took the shot, and another save by Liu. Now McCourt sends it back. That's great. Jolly with it. Jolly fires one. The save made, and Dale McCourt shot the rebound wide. Tommy Bergman held it in. Ogrodnik played it into the corner, but Rick LaPointe goes in after it. And the Red Wings had great scoring chances. And the puck cleared down the ice. The linesman waved off any icing. Greg Jolly in behind his own goal. Lost it there. Beatty knocked it away from him. Here's Dale McCourt bringing it out. 3-on-2 the wings. Danny LeBratton. And he tried a one-man rush that didn't get through, and Brown-Scheidel clears it back out. Sutter's pass picked off now by Tommy Bergman. Center ice to Danny LeBratton. Now LeBratton handed it back to Barry Long, away from Chapman. Here's Long from center ice with a shot that went high and wide. Kia goes in behind his own net. He was checked. Peter Mahovlich handed it in the corner to Danny LeBratton. Centering pass didn't come out. Turning with it is Brown-Scheidel, clearing it out center ice to Chapman. Now Chapman swinging it over the Detroit line. It bounced away from Larson. Sutter given a pump along the boards by Nedomansky. Peter Mahovlich giving it now to LeBratton. Back it comes to Long, and Long just batted it out center ice. Quick pass to Federko. Bernie Federko in the corner to Sutter. Sutter put it out in front. Very Long and his man tied up. That puck hit a broken stick, came out in front, but here's Nedomansky moving with it. Nedomansky has Mahovlich and LeBratton coming up with him. Here's Danny LeBratton. Handing it off to Peter Mahovlich. He fanned on the bouncing shot. LeBratton dug it away. Danny LeBratton knocked down by Brown-Scheidel. He came up with a puck. And the Blues head out again. We have 4.5 minutes to go. First period, no score. Larson knocked it away. Now Nedomansky back over the line, trying to go through, couldn't do it. Jim Korn intercepted right at the blue line. They whistle it down offside. We'll be back with more of the action in just a moment.
What's the big news about our 1980 Jeep CJ? MFG, more fun per gallon.
With a new 4-cylinder engine and drivetrain, the 1980 Jeep CJ delivers 21 EPA estimated MPG, plus all the gutsy performance CJs are famous for.
With the Jeep CJ, you get fuel economy you can be proud of. The best of any four-wheel drive vehicle built in America.
MFG, more fun per gallon.
Who says economy has to be dull?
Well, when the first intermission comes about, Sid is going to be talking with the Red Wing player who played just 5 hockey games and looked to have a great start and then was hurt. And that's George Lyle. That'll be our first intermission guest. Now here, moving into the Detroit zone, was Monahan, but very Long got a stick out in front of his shot. It ended up high into the crowd.
This has been a very close checking hockey game. The Wings have had 2 or 3 good scoring opportunities. Dale McCourt possibly should have scored. He took a shot, got his rebound, and had Liu pretty well to himself, and then put it right back into him. And Rogi's been sharp on a few shots from about 40, 45 feet that have been fired, low shots that he's had to play off his pads.
The Wings' Jim Korn getting double duty again tonight. That's Polonich's pass, broken up. It came out in front, and coming back, it was Korn that knocked Monahan off the puck. In behind the Detroit goal, it was knocked down with a high stick. As they go in after it, the play is whistled down. They'll bring it out over the Detroit blue line. So we've got Big John Hillworth and Korn, who has been back along the defense, moving up to the left wing with Polonich at center ice. It's a line that'll throw their weight around, or at least I guess that's what Bobby Crum is hoping they'll do. Dunlop at center, Monahan on the right side, and over on the left wing, Rolf Klassen. Puck knocked down by Reed Larson, though I don't think he knew it. Now he picks it up. Here's Larson with Korn coming down the left wing. Jim Korn back to Hillworth. John Hillworth with a shot, and that was blocked out in front by Komodowski. Monahan moves in behind his own goal, dumped it out on the right side. Polonich tried to hold it in. It's trapped on the pads and along the boards, and the face-off stays right at the St. Louis blue line.
Little Dennis Polonich, pound for pound, as tough as they come in this National League. He doesn't take a back step to any of them. Then you have big John Hillworth at about 6'5", playing over in the wing.
Jim Corn and the other one's just as big. Should put Polonich out there, Mahovlich out there to center the line and have Huber. And
Willie Huber and Tommy Bergman.
Yeah, back along
Detroit
the defense.
has some big hockey players. Nedemansky, Ogrodnik, they're all good size. Polino's 6'1" or 6'2".
Put him on a basketball court, wouldn't be out of place. Here now, Dale McCourt handing it back to Greg Jolly, dumping it in behind the St. Louis goal. The Ute stopped it there for Kia. Kia's pass will be broken up by Willie Huber. He turned around, fired it right up into the crowd. Now that evidently went off a St. Louis stick because they're holding the face-off inside the Blues line.
One thing about the Blues winning, Bruce, it's nice to see the crowd starting to come back here in St. Louis. They had dropped considerably because the Blues finished dead last year, had a terrible record. This year, through their winning, they're starting to draw them. They're not packed tonight, but probably
good crowd compared
13,
to
14,000 probably.
The Red Wings' first visit into St. Louis this season, believe it or not, just the second game they've played. You'll remember perhaps that the opening game of the new Joe Louis Arena was against the St. Louis Blues, and the Blues came up to win it. Here's a long pass knocked down by Patey. A big save, and Vachon made another one. Now a centering pass, and Vachon just now getting back into the goal. As the Blues came that close, that shot by Maxwell deflected to the corner. That came right back to Maxwell. There's Kia with a shot knocked down out in front. Going after it, Jolly was knocked away from him. Turnbull hit the side of the net trying to center it. And Willie Huber, he was checked by Patey. Jolly knocked away from a puck by Crombie. Turnbull in behind the goal, and finally it's Foligno that backhands it back to the St. Louis line. And the Blues came within a whisker of getting out in front. Now that's Dale McCourt stealing it inside the zone. His shot knocked away by Liut. It dropped into the goal mouth, but he covered up. Coming right back, Maxwell. Ryan Maxwell into the Detroit end, trying to work around Jolly. Jolly tipped it in behind the goal. Now the Wings can send 3 men out as Dale McCourt comes out. McCourt on the left wing to Ogrodnik. He took a bump from Komodowski, who just came off the bench. They're going to call too many men. Komodowski just came off the bench, made an immediate move at McCourt and Ogrodnik, and he goes off, and we'll be back with the Detroit power play in a moment.
This Bud's for every man who works with fire and steel.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Well, when Komodowski came off the bench, Sid, had he not hit it, man,
It was a good call by Alf Lejeune. They were making a change. Komodowski just stepped out and actually run into the Detroit player. They had too many men out.
Nedemansky dumping it off to Danny LeBratton. Here's Peter Mahovlich with it. Mahovlich out in front, tried to work it through to Errol Thompson. Couldn't do it. And the puck shot back into the Detroit end. The Wings were dangerous, but the pass didn't get through. Nedemansky turning out now. Rolls the puck over on the left wing. LeBratton knocks it down and carries into the St. Louis zone. Drops it for Mahovlich. That's Reed Larson with it out in front, and Errol Thompson. The pass just away from him enough. Monahan back the boards on the left side. Pulls up. Penalty, too many men, called in 18:02. Now Peter Mahovlich knocked it away from Komodowski, but it's taken by Klassen, and Ralph Klassen stick handles his way to the Detroit blue line. Klassen took it over the line, dumped it in behind the goal. 1:10 remaining in the period. Detroit with the extra man. Nedemansky's pass to Reed Larson to Peter Mahovlich. Now Mahovlich back over the line. Here's Mahovlich in the circle. Mahovlich out in front. Back to Larson. Here's Nedemansky at the blue line. A bouncing puck going to the corner. LeBratton played at the opposite corner now for Errol Thompson. Off the side of the net, Peter Mahovlich into the corner with it. Wings have control but aren't getting shots. Reed Larson let one go. Liut knocked it away. Mahovlich took the backhand. Out in front, LeBratton. Oh, and Liut stopped him. And the Wings have had great chances. And St. Louis drives it the length of the ice. Crowd yelling Liu. Tearing up the right side, Reed Larson. Wings changing on the move. Larson hands it off to Ogrodnik with a shot way wide. And the rebound off the shot all the way back into the Detroit end. 15 seconds to go in the period. Mike Foligno. His pass bouncing out to Dale McCourt. Now just 10 seconds remaining. Reed Larson has it. Larson, long pass on the left wing. Ogrodnik takes it in. He fell down, though. Dale McCourt trying to hold it, came back out center ice, and the buzzer goes to end the first period. And the Red Wings in the period out shooting St. Louis 11-8. But the end of the period, the score, Detroit nothing and St. Louis nothing.
This Bud's for all you guys who keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. This Bud's for you.
This Bud's for you.
For all the roads you ride and every place they take you to.
For all you do.
The king of beers is coming through. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
How does the Bank of the Commonwealth help me? Well, I got my checking and my savings there, but more important, when I need help, they really understand me. I mean, this guy here, he's studying law, and this bum, he's into medicine. I mean, every old man wants his kid to do better than he did, so between my back and my bank, my kid's got a future. Hey, Doc, start operating.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
My son, the judge.
Can I offer you a Coke, sir?
No.
7-Up, some coffee?
No.
Something a little stronger.
No. I'd rather Werner's.
No matter what else you got, don't get caught with your Werner's down.
Wherever you're going, it's nice to know Werner's is there. Nothing can replace Werner's mysteriously refreshing taste. Absolutely nothing.
Don't get caught with your Werner's down.
Hi, I'm Sid Abel. A big game coming up, the last game ever to be played at Olympia, February the 21st. Red Wing old-timers versus the Red Wings. Names like Gordie Howe, Ted Lindsay, Alec Del Vecchio, Bill Gadsby, Ebby Goodfellow. Just a fun night for everyone. A game that's going to be played on the 21st of February. Tickets are available at Randolph Travel, Hudson's, and of course, Cobo Arena.
Here at the Checker Dome in St. Louis, a good first period with no score in the hockey game. Well, after 3 successful years in the World Hockey Association with the Hartford Whalers, George Lyle this year joined the Detroit Red Wings. After being called up in the middle of the season from the Adirondack Red Wings, George scored 3 goals in the 5 games he played before suffering a knee injury. Sid talked with George recently about his success with the Wings.
George, I understand you had a terrific training camp with the Red Wings this fall, yet they decided to send you down to Glen Falls to the American League Farm Club. Just what were your feelings then?
Well, I was, you know, trying to make the Detroit Hockey Club and really wanted to play for the club, but sometimes that happens in the game and you have to take the good with the bad and just pull up your socks a little bit and work hard and hope to get back to the major club.
All right, then when you did come back, did you make up your mind then that if you ever did get a chance, you were going to stay here because you scored 3 goals in the first 4 games?
Well, when I did get my opportunity, I sure wasn't going to try to make the best of it. And when I want to stay in Detroit, and I want to work as hard as I can and contribute to the Detroit Hockey Club. And the best way to do that is produce on the ice.
George, let's just go back and talk about George Lyle's hockey career. I know that you were from Western Canada. Did you play your junior hockey out in Western Canada?
Yeah, I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and I played my junior hockey there. And then after that was my younger days, and then I went on to college at Michigan Tech. Played my college career through Michigan Tech, graduated out of Michigan Tech, and then turned pro.
All right, now, I understand while at Michigan Tech you were drafted by the Red Wings, and you still had a year or two to go in college.
Yeah, I was drafted in my sophomore year, and I chose to complete my college days, and then I would look at pro hockey at that time.
All right, I'm just going to ask one question. What difference do you find, say, playing college hockey and playing in the National Hockey League?
Well, there's numerous differences, I think, in pro hockey and college hockey. First, the length of the season. We're playing 40 hockey games versus 80, 90 games in pro. You practice and prepare for a weekend series in college, whereas in the pros we're playing maybe Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, or something like that, where it's a continuous game type of an environment in the pros, whereas in college you're able to almost build yourself up like Sunday football or something like that, where we prepare all week for this upcoming series, and then we'll play the games, and then we relax, rest, and practice again for weeks, and then come up for the next series. Whereas pros, we kind of got to keep that consistent game type of attitude, and you know, of course, then there's the traveling aspects in the pros, and then the degree of ability. There's some great hockey players and much stronger hockey players in the National Hockey League, and that takes a toll physically and mentally.
All right, George, I mentioned the fact that you were drafted by the Wings, yet you were elected to go to World Hockey. Was there any special reason why you wanted to go to World Hockey rather than give, say, the National League a whirl?
Well, I wanted to. You know, as I said before, I attended university in Michigan, the state of Michigan, and I wanted to stay in Michigan. I had liked the attitude of the people in Detroit. They're great. It's a great hockey town. But as I turned professional, I am a professional hockey player, and I had to seek the most advantageous position for me. And it just happened at that time that circumstances dictated that I thought that it would be in my best interest to go to New England Whalers of the WHA.
All right, now you come up here to the Wings and you get off to a terrific start for a young fella, and we're injured. How is your injury, and what is the latest?
Well, I strained the ligaments in my left knee, and that put me that's been just about 15 days now since I've hurt it, and I have now just started to skate. I skated yesterday for the first time, and it's still quite weak, and I'm still, you know, recovering and rehabilitating my knee with the muscles and what for. So it's something that you can't really just push any more than the natural way it'll heal. So we kind of just have to adapt a wait-see type of a process, I think.
All right, George, as a young hockey player trying to get started in the National League, due to an injury, Bobby Crom and Ted Lindsay brought up John Ogrodnik, and he is more or less playing in your position. Yeah. Do you think that, boy, do I have to put Ogrodnik out of a job coming back?
Well, I've learned in my days as professional that I don't look at individuals. I just concentrate on myself. I just feel that if I play to my best ability, that's all one can ask for. And there's lots of hockey players, and I'm glad that John got an opportunity to play in the National Hockey League. He was under the same circumstances that I was. He was in the minor league team, very much wanted to have his opportunity to play, and I'm glad for John in that respect. However, I don't look at a man filling in my position. I just concentrate on my own individual performance, and I work as hard as I can, and my break will come, or my chance will come to play.
George, very, very best of luck to you. Get that knee injury straightened out and get back in the lineup.
Thanks very much, Sid.
And thank you. Now let's go back to Bruce Martin.
And for being our guest on this Red Wing hockey telecast, Puritan Sportswear would like to present George with a handsome sweater and knit shirt ensemble. Puritan, America's standard for quality in men's sportswear, available at fine stores everywhere. After one period of hockey here at the Checker Dome in St. Louis, the Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues are 0-0, and we'll be back after we pause for this.
An energy message from Amoco.
Nobody likes waiting in line, and it's worse in the unemployment line. Among the many reasons people don't have jobs is America's dependence on foreign oil. The money sent overseas for foreign oil has cost Americans thousands of jobs in a wide range of industries. Amoco wants to do its part to help change this by searching for more American oil. The money spent for American oil stays in America, helping create jobs for Americans. America runs better on American oil.
He's down to the 20, 15, 10. He's got one man to beat.
Thinking of getting a new TV? Think Fretter first.
And you'll think of Magnavox quality at a Fretter price. Just $339 for this 19-inch Magnavox color TV with Magnavox quality features like automatic color leveling circuitry and solid-state dependability, all for only $339. If you think you can get a Fretter deal anywhere else, you've got another think coming.
If my low prices can't get your business, what will?
There is nothing quite like the smiling face of a child, especially when the child is mentally handicapped. More and more of these very special children are being made happy through these Special Olympics. this year's NHL All-Star Banquet in Detroit, February the 4th, and the proceeds will be donated to the Special Olympics. See the All-Stars, Norm Crosby and Mac Davis, too. And remember, you can help make these very special children smile. Further information, call 313-964-6016.
Well, as we left our arena here, the Checker Dome, you saw a picture of a few of the pretty young ladies doing the can-can here. Those are, Sid, I think, an innovation after you left as general manager of St. Louis, the St. Louis Blues girls here.
Was that the can-can? I wasn't sure that's what it was.
Looked like an old Western movie or something.
No, they did very nice, very well.
They get the crowd going here. They have a high school band, believe it or not. They brought them in, I don't know why, from Bloomington, Minnesota, which is the home ice of the Minnesota North Stars, but they entertained the crowd prior to the start of the game. But it's been a fun evening. Sid, we had some good news today out of Detroit. The fact that the National Hockey League All-Star Banquet, which is coming up Monday, is a complete sellout.
Yes, Al Coates phoned this afternoon, and Al Coates and Bud Lynch deserve an awful lot of credit. You know, we've missed Al the last couple of road trips. He stayed at home to more or less see that, with Bud, to see that the All-Star Banquet was properly taken care of.
And, of course, the game the next day, too.
And we have our new fearless leader with us, Billy Day. Billy's had things running just to a T since Al left.
Well, it's good to hear that first the banquet, and the game itself has been sold out for quite some time, so we're going to have two big nights at the new Joe Louis Sports Arena come Monday and Tuesday. Sid, the National Hockey League's Board of Governors, the general managers recommended it, and I think it's going to happen. Say, we're going to have overtime periods starting next season. Are you in favor or are you against?
I'm definitely in favor of it. I'm in favor of, say, a 10-minute overtime period, and if we're still tied at the end of 10 minutes...
Then it goes in as a tie.
Right, give them each a point and let them go home. You know, overtime was taken out way back during the war because of train travel, and you couldn't make schedules and things like that. And the hockey is the only major sport that hasn't gone into some form of overtime. Basketball play overtime, baseball play extra innings, football go into overtime, so it's time that hockey did too. The managers passed it, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 or 14 to 7. We're in favor of it. Now it has to go to the governors, and if the governors approve, and usually if the managers do recommend that they put in overtime, I'm sure the governors will go along with it.
This will change the style of play, will it not? In the latter moments of a hockey game, there'll be some teams who, particularly the away teams, who play for a tie if the game is 2-2, 3-3, or whatnot, while others will be charging out for the victory. It's going to make a little change in the method of play.
Yeah, you know, usually overtime hockey is not really exciting hockey, because if you've played 60 minutes and you are tied, the team that's playing on the road, they're going to try and get a point out of the home team. Will have that extra 10 minutes or whatever it is. It'll be sudden death. Whoever scores the first goal, sometimes mistakes are made and it's all over. But a lot of overtime games that were played, Bruce, in world hockey and that still wound up tied. So I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make.
Well, I'm in complete agreement with you. I'd like very much to see the National Hockey League go into overtime periods. I think it's going to add a little extra something to it. Well, we've had a good first period of hockey, and we've got a tie here in the St. Louis Checker Dome. It's 0-0. We'll be back with the second period face-off in just a moment.
Little Caesar's Pizza, tastiest in town. A winner anyway you slice it, all the way around.
The carry-outs are good and hot, great for nighttime snacks. Or sit down at Little Caesar's, just order and relax.
If you want variety, there's a family in for you. It's a winner, come in and see Little Caesar's.
Look for our ad in the news and free press TV books for a free pizza.
Meet Boom Boom Jeffrion, inventor of the slap shot.
Hey, this is a great new stick from Cooper. You see, Cooper redesigned their stick line from the ice up to give you great balance.
It's light enough to really let you feel the puck, and strong enough to stand up to the toughest punishment.
So try the new Cooper sticks. So good, they may even be slightly ahead of their time. But then, so was I.
What's the pesky difference that makes the great American brand great? Well, for hot dogs, the pesky difference is bursting with flavor goodness. In jumbo size and in super size for a bite of hot dog with every bite of bun. Bursting with flavor. That's the pesky quality difference you can taste.
Pesky makes the difference.
difference that makes Great American great.
Peschke Great American brand hot dogs have the quality difference you can taste. Great American brand from Peschke.
Hey.
A Coke and a smile fits into the picture. Any old time, have a Coke and a smile. Nothing feels more refreshing than a smile on your face and a Coke in your hand. Coca-Cola as life, have a Coke and a smile.
From here at the Checker Dome in St. Louis, you are watching Red Wing hockey on TV 50. The Detroit Red Wings and the St. Louis Blues having played one period, and in that period the Red Wings had 11 shots and the St. Louis Blues 8. And Sid, certainly a good part of the difference in that first period. Of course, Vachon kicked everything away, but Mike Liut was, I think, tested a little more often, and in about the last 5-10 seconds of that period, he came up with a couple or three dandies.
Well, the shot from the point come all the way through, and Peter Mahavlich walks in now and picks up the rebound, and when he throws it back out, he sets up Danny LeBreton just perfectly out in front. Now here's the little backhander back across, and watch Liut come over to cover the angle, and LeBreton got it away. Should have been a goal, but Liut beat him to it. He played his hockey in Bowling Green, and I guess had an outstanding collegiate career, and surprising. It shows that you don't have to be a first-round pick, Bruce, to be a good hockey player. He was picked in the 5th round by St. Louis, 56th player overall taken back 1976 amateur draft. Played a couple years, or 1 year, I should say, in World Hockey with Cincinnati, and had a pretty big year. Blues brought him back in this year, and he's been outstanding.
At Bowling Green, I am not sure he was there at the exact same time, but they had a mighty fine collegiate coach in Ron Mason, an old friend of ours who coached at Bowling Green. Prior to that was up at Lake Superior State College, and now is at Michigan State University, and he'll have that club going pretty soon.
And Liut's a big boy. He's 6'2", weighs 180 pounds, covers a lot of the net.
In the first period, each team had 3 penalties. Each team had 2 power plays. Polonich and Sutter went off together, but then the Red Wings had very long ends. St. Louis had Beatty, Detroit's Tommy Bergman, and that bench penalty, which has still 2 seconds to go, and the second period gets underway. But neither team could score on the power plays. The Red Wings did, I thought, look better on their power play than St. Louis did on theirs, had more chances.
They had chances, Bruce, but there were times that the Red Wings were trying to be just a little too cute with the puck, trying to get set up right out open, you know, like out in front of the net, and they could have maybe been shooting from 20 or 25 feet, especially when you have players like Peter Mahavlich screening out in front. Willie Huber moved in one time and was standing right at the edge of the crease, and instead of electing to shoot, they tried to make another pass across the front of the goal mouth, and it gets knocked away.
Well, believe it or not, after this game tonight, the Red Wings will return home. These same 2 teams will finish their weekend home-and-home series, the Blues and the Wings, and that game will be with you on WJR Radio beginning at 6:55. Then the All-Star game Tuesday, and the Wednesday night, well, I'm just going to tell you that 7 games in a row the Red Wings will be playing at home. St. Louis tomorrow, then Washington, Philadelphia, Toronto, Atlanta, Buffalo, Los Angeles, all into the Joe Louis Arena before the Wings hit the road again, which will be our next telecast, the 20th day of February, when the Wings will be facing the Penguins at Pittsburgh.
It's going to be nice to be home for a while. We've been on the road an awful lot this year because of the new arena. The Wings have played a lot of games away from home, and this stand at home now during February is more or less the ones that get things even. And if they can jump on this, Bruce, the Wings could move into real good position.
Well, I think, Sid, it's going to be something to their advantage, the idea of getting a few games at a time at the Joe Louis Arena, and then I think it becomes more their home ice than it has been over the 10 games they've played there thus far, because they've played and gone and come back and played another one, gone for 2 games.
You know, they've lost some tough games there. It isn't that they're, other than Hartford, I would say they have played well. Islanders, they lost a tough game to Islanders. They lost a tough game, I'm trying to think, to St. Louis.
Okay, the penalty is over about the time the puck is dropped. Both teams back at full strength. Federico was checked by Barry Long as he moved in, and now here's Jim Korn. He and Hillworth and Polonich, the 3 forwards. Korn got it over the line. Hillworth went after it. Hillworth picked it up out in front, took the shot, and it was stopped right in front of the goal by Liut. What a chance John Hillworth had. Now the play stays still in the St. Louis zone. Ed Kia, pass knocked down by Jim Korn. Korn starts in, dumped it off to Dennis Polonich. Polonich holding it in the corner. Taking it out now is Korn. Here's Jim Korn. He dropped it right onto the stick of Federko. Blair Chapman with it. Now Chapman wheels in behind his own goal. Drops it back for Kia. Ed Kia bringing it out center ice. A pass off the boards. Tipped up over the glass. Wasn't over the glass. Stayed in play. Barry Long picks it up. He starts Polonich down the left side. Polonich sent it into the St. Louis zone. In behind his own goal, defenseman Kia. Now Ed Kia bringing it out center ice. He's got Federko moving up the right side, and Vachon came way out of the goal to clear it away from him. Ogrodny couldn't hold it in. Long knocked it down in front of the net. Feeds off now to Mike Foligno, center ice to McCourt. Here's Dale McCourt, Foligno and Ogrodny moving over the line. It goes to the corner. Ogrodny took a whack along the boards. It came right out in front. Foligno the shot and a big save. And Dale McCourt back to Huber with a shot, and Liut knocks that away. And there'll be a penalty out in front of the goal to Ed Kia as he took Ogrodny to the ice. And the Red Wings will have the extra man, and we'll be back with their power play in just a moment.
Why does only American Motors have a full 5-year, no-rust-through warranty?
Because in all its 1980 cars, AMC starts with galvanized steel in critical areas. Then adds Z-Bart factory rust protection as the cars are being built at no extra cost.
AMC with Z-Bart factory rust protection, rust-resistant galvanized steel, and the only 5-year no-rust-through warranty.
American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow.
Sid, the Red Wings continue to pepper that St. Louis goal.
Oh, and Mike Foligno had a golden opportunity, and Liut made the save on him.
And so prior to that, the big John Hilworth. Now that's Ogrodny in along the boards. It was held in by McCourt. Golf found the ice by Rick Lapointe. Kia went off for tripping at 1:33. Detroit has the power play. Rogie Vachon dropping it off for Huber in the corner to John Ogrodny. Play still deep in the Detroit end. Willie Huber with it now. Here's Huber, a left wing pass. That's Dale McCourt. McCourt firing it in behind the net. It bounced back toward the blue line. Willie Huber will take it on the right point. Moving in. Fired the shot. He scores! And the Wings lead the game 1-0 on Willie Huber's power play goal.
Now there's a case where he shot the puck from 40 feet. And it wasn't a screen, but he was perfect just inside the right post. Liut made a little wave at it, but it was in before he could recover at all. And Willie Huber, it's his 9th goal of the season. He's starting to put things together.
So the Wings now find themselves leading 1-0 at 2:07 of the second period on the power play. We'll await the assists on the goal. Now we have Peter Mahavlich with Nedomansky and LeBratton. The puck slides all the way to the Detroit net. Vachon clears it to Reed Larson. Larson, a long pass on the right wing. Here's Nedomansky. LeBratton coming up the left side. LeBratton was covered. Nedomansky holds it. Now Big Ned. He carried it to the line. That's as far as he got. Mahavlich had to send it back to his own blue line. Reed Larson hurries back after it. Now Larson. That's Greg Jolly. Jolly didn't get it out. Zook held it in. It bounced out in front. Went right through the goal mouth. Wayne Babbage. He was checked right there by Nedomansky. 3 of the Wings move out. This pass now to Mahavlich. They move in, but Danny LeBratton on the left wing was offside. And the goal being announced. McCourt and Foligno draw the assists on the goal scored by Willie Huber. So I guess, Sid, now you'd have to say the Red Wings have scored, or that line is the last 9.
Well, it's not one of the line that scored it, so I don't think they were involved in it, but...
Huber's 9th of the year, Foligno and McCourt assisting at 2:07.
This is the line out here right now that we have to get scoring against. Nedomansky, just prior to leaving the Olympia, was on a terrific scoring spree, and the move to Joe Louis Arena seems to have cooled him down. Peter Mahavlich has been playing real fine hockey and has scored goals lately.
Now it's back into the St. Louis zone. Neil Komodowski off to Rick Lapointe. That's Federko. He was turned around by Huber. Rick Lapointe checked there by Mahavlich. Here's Danny LeBratton with a shot. It went over the top of the goal. In behind the net, Nedemansky runs into Rick LaPointe. The puck loose to Federko. Up on the right side, this is Chapman coming out. Now Blair Chapman driving it into the corner in the Detroit zone. Vachon came out to play it away from Sutter. Danny LeBratton didn't get it out. It's held in. Federko off the side of the net. That's Chapman with it. He was checked right there. The puck hit the back of the net, and they'll bring a face-off out over the Detroit blue line.
Oh, Willie Huber's shot proved one thing, Bruce, that the puck will go in the net if it's in the right spot. Liut was hot in that first period, made some unbelievable saves, and he made an unbelievable save on big John Hillworth right the first 30 seconds of the period. But I wouldn't think John is considered a goal scorer.
Boy, he said his chances.
Yes, well, when he gets his next one, it's going to be his first one.
Well, here's Paul Woods centering Bolduc and Thompson again. Blues win the face-off. Braunscheitel cleared it into the Detroit zone and went off Willie Huber up into the crowd. Out of town, Buffalo and the Islanders at the Nassau Coliseum in New York are now in a 2-2 tie. The New York Rangers at Washington lead the Capitals, and boy, they have been injury-plagued the last couple of seasons. The Rangers 5 and Washington 1. Philadelphia still 4-0 over Pittsburgh. Atlanta 2-1 over Hartford at Atlanta.
You know, Washington really talk about injuries. They have lost really all their key players with serious injuries.
Here in St. Louis, the Wings lead 1-0. Errol Thompson's pass didn't come out, kept in by Mike Zook. He handed it back to Tony Curry. That's broken up, and Bolduc slides it out. Center ice goes after it. He's hauled down, and the Blues will play it. Now Tony Curry deep in his own end. Drops it back for Ed Kia. Off to Mike Zook. Center ice pass to Curry. Curry bangs it along the boards. It'll go in behind Vachon. He stops it for Korn. Jim Korn out on the right side to Huber. Now Willie Huber's pass deflected ahead. Here's Bolduc with it. He failed to work away from Braunscheitel. Kia. Now Braunscheitel. We have played 4:15 of the second period. 1-0 Detroit. Vachon out of the goal. Cleared it away from Babbage. It bounces in toward the corner. Jammed in along the boards. The face-off will stay to the left of Rogie Vachon. The Wings at this stage of the game have 4 shots here in the second period, and St. Louis none.
The Wings are playing a very good defensive type of hockey, too. They're picking up their wings and coming back. They're not giving St. Louis too much of an opportunity to catch them or trap them.
Peter Mahovlich comes out now to take the face-off against Mike Zook. Came right back out to Babbage. Now back to the line. Kia had trouble with it. Here's Braunscheitel. The puck knocked away in front. Then a whistling shot by Kia wide. And the rebound driven wide of the goal by Zook. Jim Korn hands it back to Willie Huber. Now Huber. His pass picked up by Peter Mahovlich. Mahovlich over the line. He whistled that one and he fired it wide. He may have had his man beaten. Puck stays in. Paul Woods got it back now to Mahovlich, but it's driven off his stick back out center ice. Jim Korn drives it right back in. Braunscheitel will go in after it. Now Braunscheitel turning out, trying to work away from McCourt. It's picked up by Kia. Ed Kia drives it into the corner again. Mike Foligno goes in after it. Foligno handing it back now to Dale McCourt. Very long, couldn't find it. McCourt heads out. Ahead it comes to Errol Thompson. Korn coming up the left side. That's Jim Korn. Korn goes in behind the goal with it. Put it right out in front. It's picked up by Barry Long with a shot that bounced right to the goal. And that's knocked away. Now the Blues head out. Puck knocked in again by Dale McCourt. O'Grotnik was upset by Kia. Ryan Maxwell dumping it deep into the corner. The Blues Kia clears it ahead. Zook out on the left side, but that's taken away by Barry Long. Now Tony Bergman. Bergman playing it back into the St. Louis end. Maxwell in behind his own goal. Ryan Maxwell ahead now to Larry Patey. Patey down the right side. Puck was knocked down with a high stick by Tony Bergman, so they'll call that and keep the face-off in the Detroit end. We'll be back with that face-off after we pause now for this message.
This Bud's for everybody who helps keep our country on the move.
This Bud's for you. You're working hard all day just like you always do.
This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
While we were away, Dale McCourt skated over to the scorer down below us, and that usually indicates it'll be a change on the scoring play. There's only one scoring play to speak of. Here, though, is St. Louis out. Came back to Brian Maxwell. That shot fired, knocked away. Rick LaPointe let it go. Vachon made the save. Grodnik played it off behind the goal. That's Foligno. He has trouble with it there. Did get it ahead now to Dale McCourt. Wings deep in their own zone. Tommy Bergman's pass ahead to Grodnik. A long one, and it just tipped away from Foligno. Goes all the way to Liud, who cleared it into the corner for Rick LaPointe. That'll be held in by Barry. No, he didn't get to it. It's driven back out center ice, and Long comes back after it. Fired it back in with Foligno still coming back, so the face-off out at center ice. Basketball-wise, Big Ten rivals take to the court. The Michigan Wolverines battle the Ohio State Buckeyes. That'll be Thursday night at 8 o'clock on TV 50. Detroit leads 1-0. The goal by Willie Huber, Foligno, and McCourt, though I'm guessing there may be a change.
Could be a change in one of the assists, or both of the assists.
It wasn't Tipton that was it?
I think Willie Huber's shot went direct.
Now the play goes in behind the St. Louis goal. Brian Maxwell goes in after it. Maxwell coming out. Cleared it over on the right side. Taken in by Monahan. He dropped it right out on the stick of Dennis Polonich. Polonich ahead now. That's Jim Korn. Korn and Hillworth. Korn over the line. Took a weak shot, deflected into the corner. Maxwell went in, took a bump there from Hillworth. Now it's dug away by Polonich. Dennis Polonich wheeling in behind the goal, still in control. Polonich goes to the corner after it. He's working hard. Here's Polonich back on the line to Reed Larson. Larson's shot was blocked, and that shook up the man that blocked it, Dunlop. Coming back is Larson, handing it back to Dennis Polonich. Now Polonich ahead. He fired it too far for Hillworth. A funny bounce off the boards. Maxwell turned around by Hillworth. Polonich gave Hillworth Maxwell a bump. Play loose in the St. Louis end, and coming out now is Klassen. Ralph Klassen's pass taken by Hartney Monahan. Jim Korn knocks into the ice, and Reed Larson takes it. Klassen bumped him, the two of them taking it along the boards. It came out in front, but Jolly will play it there. Now Greg Jolly dumped it ahead. It's held in, though, by Federko. Here's Federko. Knocked to the ice by Greg Jolly, and the Wings have 3-on-2. Coming down the left side, Polonich. Dennis Polonich took the shot. The rebound out in front. Another shot knocked away by Liut. John Hillworth goes in along the boards with Rick LaPointe. Federko went in to dig it out. Now LaPointe has it. Into the corner to Braunscheidel. Braunscheidel, a left wing pass. Klassen failed to hold that, and Reed Larson takes it at his own blue line. Now Larson winding up. Whistled that shot way wide. It's loose off to the side of the net, and Rick LaPointe is after it. LaPointe shooting it out center ice again. Federko with it. Federko bounced it off to the side of the Detroit goal. Nedemansky hustles in after it. Big Ned clears it on the left wing. It'll be picked up by Mahavlich. Mahavlich, a good move away. He has Nedemansky moving over the line. Here's Ned pulling up, and now Mahavlich and Sutter are going at it. They had a fight right down below us, and they have a good hold on one another now, so
a little wrestling
much
match.
of a fight between the two number 11s.
Sutter was hitting Peter in the ribs.
Well, the Wings have carried the play here in the second period, and they lead the game 1-0. And as the two players enter the penalty box, we'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, the banks are all alike. They say they want to help, but where are they when you need them?
When I needed help, they told me that I didn't have enough of my money to get any of their money.
Sure, you guys have been banking with the wrong banks. The Bank of the Commonwealth, they helped me send my kid through college. Braces for my daughter's teeth. My wife's car. In fact, I get so much help from my bank, my family thinks I'm made of money.
Here, let's see you make this into money.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
Just like my family.
Well, Peter Mahavlich winds up getting 4 minutes, and Sutter only 2. Peter got 2 for slashing, and this is Peter carrying the play down the middle. Sutter's the one that's hooked onto him, and they just whacked away at one another. They both did, and Sutter tried to get a hold of him, and it just turned out to be a wrestling match. Sutter was poking Peter in the ribs.
Well, what it amounts to is Detroit now will play a man short, and so will St. Louis for the next 2 minutes. And then Sutter will come back on. Mahavlich will have the second of his minors. 2 for slashing, 2 for roughing. Sutter gets 2 for roughing. Barry Long's pass broken up right there by Chapman. Now Blair Chapman heads back into the Detroit zone, pulls up. Chapman's pass knocked away by Nedemansky. He fired it down the ice. Liut way out of the goal, clearing it now to Braunscheidel. John Braunscheidel moving over the line into the Detroit end. Braunscheidel played it all the way out center ice. It came in offside. And the play comes back out over the Detroit blue line with 24 seconds of the penalty time by the board.
I can't recall, the Wings have played well on the road, but I can't recall a game, Bruce, where they have picked up their checks as consistently as they have all night long. There was a case right there. The play came in over the blue line. Nedemansky had his man. He took him all the way into the net. He didn't release him at any time.
Huber's 9th goal of the year on the power play from Foligno and McCord at 2:07 of the second period, the only goal of the hockey game. Foligno is on right now. He is paired with Ogrodnik. Reed Larson and Jolly back along the defense. That's Rick Lapointe giving it to Komodowski. Larry Fady and Wayne Babbage, the two forwards, as Lapointe moves into the Detroit zone, tried to go through and coming out of the net. Vachon grabbed the loose puck and held on as Lapointe made a pretty fair play.
He bounced right in between Jolly and Larson. He just gave a little dip, and there's the case where they both had their sticks out. Rogie made a smart play by coming out and smothering the puck before Lapointe could get to it.
Now Dale McCord and Foligno, the two forwards. McCord will go in against Larry Fady off to the right of the Detroit goal.
We might add Lapointe was Detroit's #1 pick back a few years ago, and then went to Philadelphia and finally was traded over here.
Now Komodowski sent it back on the blue line to Rick Lapointe. He dumped it in behind the Detroit goal. Vachon sweeps it to the corner, coming after it Jolly. Greg Jolly leading a three-man rush for the Wings. Jolly ahead to McCord. He was stopped. It came right back to Jolly. He's got Larson open. Here's Reed Larson with a shot, and Liut came up with another big save. And Fady heads back. Now Fady pulled up at the blue line, dumped it into the Detroit zone. Jolly will bring it out to Mike Foligno. Foligno took it over the line. He's trying to go through. Here's Foligno working out in front, and he was dumped to the ice, went into the net. And Foligno getting up very slowly in behind Liut in the St. Louis goal. Foligno heading to the bench. His helmet is still in the net. Reed Larson. Now Larson back over the line. Here's Larson with a shot, and Liut knocked that away. 25 seconds remaining in the St. Louis penalty, then they'll have the extra man. Rick Lapointe back into the Detroit end again. Lapointe put it right to the goal mouth. Vachon cleared that away. And it's held to the side of the net by the Detroit goaltender with 10.5 minutes having been played in the second period.
I was afraid that Mike Foligno may have injured himself when he slid into the net, but he's all right. He just went out. He made a terrific play to get in. He is so good at bringing the puck back around on his forehand, but he just got knocked off balance by the defenseman, slid into the goal, and it was the goaltender that knocked his helmet off.
At this stage of the second period, sir, the Red Wings have had 10 shots and St. Louis 1. But Liut, there are the gals we were talking about. They call them the Blue Angels, sir.
Just adds a little something to a hockey game, doesn't it? It's something that football has done for many years.
Take something away from the hockey game. Harold Thompson comes out with Dale McCord in 13 seconds. Sutter will come back on. Mahovlich will have another 2 minutes to serve in his double minor. Back on the line, that's Kia giving it now to Braunscheidel with a shot wide. Over on the right point, Kia. Kia dumped it into the corner. Willie Huber goes in after it. Now Huber didn't control it. That's Blair Chapman with it. The penalty's over, and St. Louis has the extra man. They take it to the boards and hold it there. Face off to the left of the Detroit goal. So now St. Louis can set up their power play. They have Braunscheidel and Mike Zook back at the points. Federko, Chapman, and Sutter up front. Harold Thompson along with Dale McCord, penalty killers for the Wings. Barry Long and Willie Huber. McCourt won the draw. Vachon cleared it along the boards for Harold Thompson. Thompson was checked before he could work it out. And Willie Huber took a whack at it. It's picked up by Thompson again. He feeds ahead to Dale McCourt. He's got Barry Long coming up with him. McCourt over the line, dropped it for Long. It bounced over his stick. Coming right back now is Chapman. Here's Chapman digging into the Detroit zone. He was checked by Huber. And Vachon grabbed the puck as it rolled toward the Detroit goal. So the face-off stays still in the Detroit zone. Sometimes, and you've mentioned this so often, Sid, a goaltender hurts a little when he doesn't get enough work, and he's had only 2 easy shots in this period.
They don't like that. I know goaltenders like some action to keep them sharp. He has had to come out, though, and smother a few pucks out in front of the net, and that probably is like taking shots where it keeps him on his toes.
McCord and Woods now penalty killers with Long and Huber. That'll be McCord in against Federko, and again, Dale won the draw. Vachon clears it for Paul Woods. Woods was checked right there. Braunscheidel has it. Here's Braunscheidel off the rim of the circle. Braunscheidel's shot blocked by Woods. Woods got up, kicked it away. Willie Huber and McCord are moving 2-on-1. Here's Huber over the line. Willie can go right in. He took the shot. He scores! A shorthanded goal for Detroit, and the second goal by Huber. It's 2-0.
And a beautiful shot on the glove side up just under the top crossbar. They caught St. Louis all inside the Red Wing blue line, and Willie Huber really used a heads-up play. Paul Woods knocked the puck down. It was just there by itself, and Willie Huber, realizing that they had an opportunity, a 2-on-1, watched the defenseman back straight in. Willie went right in. He's on the angle and put it on the short side up high. Pete Liut on his glove side, and a big goal for the Wings when you're short-handed to be able to come up with a goal like that.
Unassisted goal for Huber, his 10th of the season, his second of the period at 11:32. So he has one with a power play, one while Detroit has been short-handed.
I would think Paul Woods should have got an assist on that, because Paul Woods made the play, blocked the puck right at his doorstep when Huber picked it up.
Now it's driven back into the St. Louis zone with a minute remaining in the penalty to Mahavlich. Coming out, Rick Lapointe, being watched by Paul Woods. It came out center ice to Brian Maxwell. He dumped it deep into the Detroit zone, going in after it, firing it right through the goal crease was Blake Dunlop. Now it's Maxwell, handing it back. That's Curry off the side of the net to Dunlop. Back it comes to the blue line for Maxwell. That's Dunlop off the rim of the circle. Playing it back on the line again. Lapointe let that shot go, knocked down out in front. A loose puck, and Vachon kicked it away. And Paul Woods picks it up and bangs it off the boards, and Rogie came through with a big one there. Cleared back into the St. Louis end as Rick Lapointe goes back after it. Now Lapointe, his pass coming out. Babbage cleared it ahead. Dunlop on the left side to Tony Curry. Curry off to Rick Lapointe into the Detroit end. Here's Lapointe with a shot, very long, blocked it. And Dale McCord cleared it ahead, and Errol Thompson shoots it down the ice, and Peter Mahavlich comes back on. The Wings not only killed off the penalty, scored a shorthanded goal. In his own zone now, Maxwell cleared it all the way down the ice. They're going to call it icing, as back after it is Jolly. And the play will come back into the St. Louis end. The Wings lead it 2-0. We'll be back in a moment.
What's the pesky difference that makes the great American brand great? Well, if you're talking about ham, you're talking about carefully selected lean and firm hams, just full of sweet smoke flavor, lean and firm. That's the quality difference. Great American brand hams from Pesky.
Pesky makes the difference that makes great American great.
Boneless hams are specially featured for $1.38 per pound this week at all Great Scott supermarkets.
There's the story of the game thus far. 7 minutes, 1 second to go in period number 2. 2-0, the Wings lead it. Peter Mahavlich with LeBratton and Nedemansky now, and Greg Jolly, Reed Larson. That's Ed Kia going in behind his own goal. Larry Fady is up front with Turnbull on one wing, and over on the other, Mike Crombie. That's Komodowski shooting it in behind the Detroit goal. Vachon sent it to the corner. Fady held it in. Greg Jolly will go after it. Jolly whacked in along the boards by Crombie. Nedemansky tips it ahead now to Peter Mahavlich. Good pass on the left side, picked up by Danny LeBratton. He's got Larson with him. LeBratton over the line. And he left it right there, and it's cleared back out center ice. Jolly will take it, handing it quickly to Nedemansky and now to Larson. Reed Larson dumped it right onto the stick of Komodowski, and the Blues in their own end. Clear it ahead to Turnbull. Here's Perry Turnbull. He's their first draft choice. Speaking of St. Louis, penalty coming up to Detroit. Puck was driven into the Detroit end, and Vachon knocked it away on the delayed call. Finally, the Wings touch it, and the penalty's called, and I believe it's Jolly who's going to go on. And while he does, we shall pause for this message.
First, Little Caesars introduced Pizza Pizza. 2 medium pizzas for the price of 1, and you ate it up.
Pizza!
Now, Pizza goes all the way. Small, medium, and large. For any size appetite, any size wallet.
Mushrooms.
Because you can feed a lot of hungry mouths.
Pepperoni.
Without spending a lot of money.
Pizza. Double cheese.
Little Caesars Pizza. 3 good ways for pizza that's twice as good.
Now here is a case where the wing defenseman got just a little too far apart, and the play comes through Jolly's feet, and he just put his arm out and grabbed the player up shoulder high, pulled him down. And after that play, after the penalty, really, St. Louis come awful close to scoring.
Vachon made as good a move
save.
as he's made all night long. Play goes in behind the Detroit goal. Harold Thompson knocked it away. The Blues control it. That's Larry Fady, number 6, back on the line to Braunscheidel. Dumped it off to the corner again. Fady has it there. Knocked away by Vachon. Fady going after it, but it's taken away by Harold Thompson. And he backhands it, bouncing it down the ice. Jolly for holding at 13 minutes, 46 seconds. The 6th Red Wing penalty. St. Louis is at 5. Now coming back, Braunscheidel leading a 4-man rush into the Detroit zone. Broken up that time by Willie Huber. He slides it the length of the ice. And Liut cleared it in behind his own goal now to Mike Zook. Here is Zook, a long pass coming out to Federko. Ernie Federko charging into the Detroit zone, pulling up along the boards. That shot fired from the blue line was wide of the Detroit net. Held in by Braunscheidel. This is Turnbull going into the corner. Willie Huber in after him. Puck loose in the corner. Paul Woods dug it away. Now he fired it along the boards, and that again will go the length of the ice with 50 seconds remaining in Greg Jolly's penalty. We near the 15-minute mark of the second period, 2-0 Detroit. Braunscheidel, rink-wide pass on the right side for Chapman. Now Blair Chapman digs back into the Detroit end. Chapman put it off to the side of the net. Very Low took it, Long took it there, but didn't get it out. It came right back to him with a work of Paul Woods. Here's Lowe and McCord again. Lowe goes over the line, rather long. Long dumped the shot. It deflected to the side of the net and taken away now by Braunscheidel, who cleared it to Federko. Bernie Federko over the line, trying to work away from Larson in behind the Detroit goal. Larson took him off the puck. Harold Thompson has it. Now Thompson takes it off the boards and shoots it the length of the ice again. And the penalty to Greg Jolly is over, and the Red Wings are now back at full strength as Jolly comes back out. Intercepting was Tommy Bergman. It comes to Peter Mahavlich. He let the shot go wide. Liut playing it into the corner for Perry Turnbull. Maxwell. Here now Maxwell. Ahead to Federko. Into the Detroit zone. He dropped it for Sutter with a shot. Oh, and Vachon got just a piece of it and went just over the crossbar. Tommy Bergman's pass didn't come out. Peter Mahavlich digs it in along the boards. Sutter sent it into the corner. Tommy Bergman came in, made that play. Ogrodny took a whack at it and rolls it back into the St. Louis end. Back after it, Maxwell. 3.5 minutes to play in period number 2. At center ice, Curry. His pass now to Rick LaPointe. Drove it into the Detroit end. Dennis Polonich tipped it away. Ogrodny played it ahead now to Reed Larson. He starts Polonich out. Now Polonich. He has Foligno on the right side. Polonich over the line. Polonich goes to the corner with it. Given a 2-man bump there. Ogrodny dug it loose. It's held in by Mike Foligno. His pass goes into the corner. Wayne Babbage played it in behind his own goal. Cleared to the line. Foligno held it in. His pass goes to the corner. Polonich going in after it. Now Dennis Polonich back on the line. Reed Larson shot and just getting a piece of that Liut. Put right out in front, but it's tipped right onto the stick now of Dunlop. Curry. Now Tony Curry. That puck bouncing dangerously off to the side of the goal. And taken in behind his own net now by Reed Larson. Ahead to Foligno. Ogrodnik on the left side. Foligno whistled the long shot as the Wings go for the player change with 2 minutes, 20 seconds to play. Second period, 2-0 Detroit. Same 2 teams tomorrow night at the Joe Louis Sports Arena. Willie Huber starts Paul Woods out. Here's Woods over the line. Woods given a bump by Komodowski. Ed Kia picked it up. Cleared it to Fady. Korn slowed him up. It slides into the Detroit end with Willie Huber back after it. Now Huber banged it off the boards to center ice, and Komodowski takes it. Pass broken up again by Huber. He has both the Detroit goals. Here's Bolduc. He's got Thompson with him. Bolduc moving in. He took the shot, and Liut got a piece of that. And the Wings had a great opportunity. They were in cold, 2-on-1. Willie Huber back in his own blue line. Now to Jim Korn. Korn dumping it off the boards. Paul Woods has it. Woods failed to work away from Kia. This is Perry Turnbull, number 9. Turnbull drops it back. Kia takes it. Now Kia's pass off a skate into the Detroit end. Huber ahead to Bolduc. Danny Bolduc skates out center ice. Had the stick knocked out of his hand. Turnbull picks it up. Jim Korn knocked it away from him. 1:20 to go in the second period. General manager of the St. Louis Blues, Emile Francis, is going to be joining Sid live from our telecast location here in St. Louis between the second and third periods. That's Rick LaPointe playing it back into the Detroit zone. Sutter goes into the corner after it. He was checked right there by Korn. Wings cleared it. In along the boards. It's dug away. Federico slid it out in front. Errol Thompson goes into the corner after it. Being chased by Chapman. Chapman fell down, and Thompson shoots it back into the St. Louis end with 45 seconds to play in the second period. Wings lead 2-0. Puck driven all the way down the ice. They waved off the icing. Reed Larson. Larson, his pass on the left wing. LeBratton worked away. Here's Danny LeBratton. Nedemansky on the right side. LeBratton over the line. Being chased by Sutter. Worked out in front. And that pass knocked away by Brian Maxwell. Now Chapman heads back. Long left side pass to Sutter. Sutter clearing it into the Detroit zone. Very Long goes in after it. Fired it off the boards. It hit the linesman just over the blue line. Played back now to Braunscheidel. Off to Rick LaPointe. 10 seconds to play in the period. Federico checked right there by Long, who fired it back into the St. Louis end, and time will run out in this second period with a play in behind the Blues goal, and the buzzer goes. And now we have played 2 periods of hockey. Here is the second period scoring summary, brought to you by Magnavox and Prutter Appliance Stores. After no scoring in the first period, where the Wings had outshot St. Louis 11-8, Willie Huber opened the scoring at 2:07 of the second period with a power play goal. Foligno and McCourt drew the assist. There is a chance they could be changed. Then Mahovlich went off with 2 minor penalties, St. Louis with 1. And while St. Louis's man came back and Detroit was playing short a man, Willie Huber broke down the ice with Paul Woods and cut right in on top of the goal and whistled a shot from about 10-15 feet out. And Willie had his second goal of the period, his 10th of the year at 11:32, and the Wings lead the hockey game 2-0. So that's it, the end of 2 periods of play. We'll return to the Checker Dome in just a moment.
An energy message from Amoco.
When you read about the American dollar dropping in value, this is one of the places where it happens. These traders know there are many reasons why the dollar drops. One of them is that too many dollars go overseas for foreign oil. Amoco wants to do its part to help your dollar by producing more American oil. The money spent on American oil stays at home, helping to strengthen your dollar. America runs better on American oil.
This Bud's for everybody who puts in a hard day's work.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
I own this place. But tonight, no more work. Tonight is celebration, because tomorrow I go back to Greece. You know how? Because my friends at Bank of the Commonwealth, they helped me to start this place when other banks do not. Now I go back to Greece, and my cousins, they think I am big shot. I am not big shot, but at Bank of the Commonwealth, they treat me like a big shot.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
Looks aren't everything, you know. Comfort counts a lot. That's why Hudson's offers Hager slacks, because dressed up or dressed down, Hager slacks feel as good as they look. They're made of carefree, comfortable today's Dacron, so they go right in the washer and dryer and come out looking like new. Hager slacks of Dacron polyester. They really feel as good as they look, and at just $16, they feel pretty good to your pocketbook, too. Hager slacks, just $16 in the men's casual shop at Hudson's.
It's nice to have an opportunity to talk to an old-time friend, General Manager Emile Francis of the Blues. Emile, your club has made an amazing comeback this year. Last year, they finished with probably one of the lowest point totals of any team. Here they are just beyond the halfway mark, battling for first place. Any special reason for it?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of reasons, Sid. As you mentioned, we did have a very tough year last year. 2 years ago, we were at the point of this whole thing going down the drain, of course, and we're very fortunate Ross Saprina came along and bought the franchise. 2 years ago, we had lost Bobby Gassoff, who had got killed in an automobile accident, and of course, we lost our first-round draft choice, who defected to World Hockey. We had no money, we couldn't sign him. And the goalkeeper you see out there tonight graduated from Bowling Green, and we had drafted him that year and couldn't sign him, and away he went too. We had the oldest club in the league, and at that point, we decided we just house clean, draft a bunch of young people. We had a Perina behind us and start all over. But we knew we would have to pay the penalty. The penalty was having a tough year last year. We've made 11 changes since then. We've got Mike Lewitt back from Cincinnati of the World Hockey. We added 4 new defensemen. We added 7 new forwards, so that's about it. We've cut way back on our goals against. We have a far better skating team. And of course, when you talk about skating and checking teams, we run up against a pretty good one here tonight.
Well, you know, Emil, it's like a new hockey club. I thought I knew your team, and you've made moves. You've got LaPointe from Philadelphia, and you've got Chapman from Pittsburgh.
Right.
The Wings tonight are checking probably better than they have in any road game, and I follow all the games on the road, but they are picking up their checks and coming back, and they've had you pretty well stymied, but there's still 20 minutes to play.
That's true, and we do have a type of a team that we've come back many times this year, but I think the key to any hockey club, of course, is the defense and your goals against. And last year we had 340 goals scored against us, so our goal this year was to cut that back to 280, or in other words, 3.5 goals a game against. And right now, we have a goalkeeper, Mike Lewitt, who's played basically most of our games, and his average is 302, so we've cut way back in the goals against. And I feel if we can do that, that means that we're playing a much better position game. If we're playing our position, we're going to create better scoring opportunities.
Right. You know, and you being a former goaltender, Lewitt in the first period came up with several outstanding saves, and I was talking to Gus Kyle and those fellows before the broadcast. They said he has been like that all season long.
Yeah, we took a little bit of a chance. We thought we knew how good he was, and you brought up a fellow's name. We traded Phil Muir from here to Philadelphia, right, and picked up Rick LaPointe, and we picked up Blake Dunlop because we knew that Unger wasn't going to be here. I think one of the key things that happened to us too is that Eddie Kia came in that deal for compensation for Unger, along with Red Lawrence and the second-round draft choice. And Kia really is the glue to our defense. He helped a young fellow like Jack Braunscheidel, who was here last year. In fact, Braunscheidel is the only defenseman we have left from last year. There's another young man who's not playing tonight, Joe Micheletti, who's played very well for us, and we got him in a deal from Edmonton. So we picked up LaPointe, we picked up Maxwell, we picked up Eddie Kia, we picked up Micheletti. So we had Lewitt, 4 new defensemen, and another young man who's really helped us sit back from our old home province of Saskatchewan, Ralph Klassen. We got him purposely to be a good defensive player and to kill penalties, and he's done an excellent job killing penalties. He's a very good skater. He never gets caught, and he's got that mobility and agility for a good penalty.
Right, he can skate, yeah. And he was an outstanding junior. I noticed one thing, Emil. I was over to watch your club skate this morning, and then the Wings followed them on the ice. I noticed you have your scouts in. Is this the halfway point as far as scouting? You have all your scouts in going over the junior prospects. Are there some good young hockey players coming up for next year's draft?
Yes, I can't promise there's any more Mike Folignos because you've got a dandy there, but there are. We feel that particularly in the first 8 or 9, they're the type of kids that can come here and play. And of course, this year we're going to be drafting 18-year-old hockey players. You're a general manager, and we did that before. So there's a tremendous risk. But this is a halfway mark, and this is our first evaluation. And then we'll spread out again. And of course, we're looking everywhere, whether it be Europe or Canada or United States. And we're getting some fine players out of the American colleges now. They've got a great program. And you just don't have enough scouts to cover everywhere. As a result, we really have to keep tab of it.
You know, I was going to mention the fact that you have Dennis Ball and several scouts that have been with you for years. Even, I always say Broken Stick, Breckle, I can't never say
Berkelstitch, right.
It's nice to see all those fellows and see that they're involved. Hopefully come up with some more young kids
right.
better.
Well, we took the Ranger organization. All of us were there together. I'd hired them. They came in with us. And we built that up to 10 straight years. I think we had a real good hockey club. And they all moved over here to St. Louis. And I feel very fortunate because I think that we are probably the most capable people in the business. They're really dedicated, Sid, and they're loyal. And those are two of the most important ingredients nowadays.
You know, I want to ask you one thing. You just returned from a general managers meeting down in Florida. There was talk that we may get into overtime. What were your thoughts of possibly getting back into overtime?
I'm all for it. I feel that we're getting too many ties in the National League. And I think some of the teams are deliberately the last 5 minutes or so playing for those ties. And, you know, going back to the playoffs, of course, I think that's one of the most exciting times in hockey. Of course, often then it's do or die. You know, you go into that overtime, either you're in or you're out. But I really feel it'll restore some competitiveness back to the game, and it'll give us a little excitement that maybe we're lacking right now going into those last few minutes of the game when the game is tied.
I agree with you 100%. You know, we were the only sport that didn't get into overtime. Football, baseball, basketball, all do it, and I really think hockey should follow suit.
Right, because I've never gone to a game of any kind yet, as you just mentioned, that when that thing ends, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. And I feel that we've got to get back to that, and the majority of general managers feel that way, Sid, and I think we should all keep plugging it.
Emil, thanks ever so much for stopping by. It's always nice talking to you. Best of luck to you in the Blues. And,
Great.
Just let us go through and win a hockey game here tonight.
Well, we're looking forward to coming to Detroit tomorrow and also to see the All-Star game.
Very good. Now let's go back to Bruce Martin.
Okay, and Emo, we thank you for being our guest. And Magnavox, manufacturers of the finest in electronics and cabinet styling, takes pride in presenting you with a certificate for a 12-inch black and white Magnavox television. Here, after 2 periods of play at the Checker Dome, the score: the Detroit Red Wings 2, the St. Louis Blues nothing, and we'll return in just a moment.
One of these people has an edge held by only one person in 100. Look closely. Only one has a substantial line of bank credit in reserve and can cash a check for up to $2,000 at any American Express travel service office worldwide, or get up to $1,000 in cash at participating banks nationwide. Only one person in 100 has this edge, the one in 100 who carries the Gold Card.
Thank you.
The Gold Card from American Express in partnership with major banks.
An energy message from Amoco.
Remember when you could get 2 bags of groceries for what you now pay for one? Obviously, there are many causes of inflation. One of the most significant has been the huge jump in the cost of imported oil. The people at Amoco want to produce more American oil to help fight the inflation caused by foreign oil. The money spent for American oil stays in America. And that's a good way to help preserve the value of your dollar. America runs better on American oil.
What does American Motors Concord DL have that Fairmont and Citation don't? Fairmont and Citation have 14-gallon gas tanks. Concord has a 22-gallon gas tank. Think about that this weekend. Concord gives you standard luxuries like individual reclining seats and full vinyl roof. Fairmont and Citation don't. Concord has the only full 5-year no-rust-through warranty. Fairmont and Citation don't. The 1980 Concord. American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow.
Abdul, quickly!
Fish. Sir. Here, water. The fish. I'd rather done it.
Burners? No matter what else you got, don't get caught with your burners down.
When thirst threatens to get the best of you, nothing can replace Burners' mysteriously refreshing taste.
Don't get caught with your burners down, old boy.
Well, Sid, while you and Emil were talking, they did make a couple of changes on the goals. Willie Huber scored the first one on the power play. They took the assist away from Mike Foligno and gave it to John Ogrodnik. So it's Ogrodnik and McCourt assisting on Huber's first goal. And they did add the assist, as you suggested they should, on the second. The short-handed goal scored by Huber. Paul Woods, who really knocked the puck away and started Huber out at 11:32, draws an assist there.
You know, Bruce, coming up this third period, an important 20 minutes for the Wings. If they could hang on and win this hockey game, you take this same hockey club, this is like the old days, you take this same hockey club back into Joe Louis Arena tomorrow night, and if the Wings could win this period now, take them back home and ever give them a double dip, you can hurt St. Louis and would vault Detroit right up into the middle of the pack.
I'll tell you how important it is. The Toronto Maple Leafs are losing to the Chicago Blackhawks tonight, and if they continue to do that, and if the Red Wings could hold on here, that would put Detroit a point ahead of Toronto Maple Leafs. Quebec lost this afternoon. They went into the game with 45 points, the same as Detroit. So the Red Wings would then move over Quebec. And the St. Louis Blues have played 2 more games in Detroit. If the Wings could sweep the weekend, there's a big if. That if they could, if they could sweep the weekend series, heck, they'd be only 2 points behind St. Louis with a game in hand, and they'd be moving.
Let's get this 20 minutes first.
Oh, that's what I mean. But you're the one that started all of this, you know. Well, the Detroit Red Wings lead the St. Louis Blues here at the Checker Dome on 2 goals by Willie Huber. We'll be back with the third period action after we pause for this.
There is nothing quite like the smiling face of a child, especially when the child is mentally handicapped. More and more of these very special children are being made happy through the Special Olympics. This year's NHL All-Star Banquet in Detroit, February the 4th, and the proceeds will be donated to the Special Olympics. See the All-Stars, Norm Crosby and Mac Davis, too. And remember, you can help make these very special children smile. Further information, call 313-964-6016.
What's the Peschke difference that makes the great American brand great? Well, for hot dogs, the Peschke difference is bursting with flavor goodness. In jumbo size and in super size for a bite of hot dog with every bite of bun. Bursting with flavor. That's the Peschke quality difference you can taste.
Peschke makes the difference that makes great American great.
Peschke Great American brand hot dogs have the quality difference you can taste. Great American brand from Peschke.
If there's one thing you can depend on, it's that your favorite glasses will break, one way or another. Which means, one way or another, you wind up with a collection of unfavorite glasses. Now you can replace your glass menagerie, because now you can get beautiful French lead crystal at Bank of the Commonwealth with every deposit of $50 or more in any savings account. So come to the Bank of the Commonwealth today and add a touch of glass.
Get ready, Detroit. The 1980 Greater Michigan Boat and Fishing Show is cruising into Cobo Hall, February 2nd through 10th. Don't miss it. There are more boats than ever, and everything's for sale at special show prices you won't find any other time of the year. See the James Bond Moonraker boat, the world's largest canoe, the latest in fishing gear, and so much more. Learn where to fish in Michigan and what you'll need to catch the really big ones. The Big Boat and Fishing Show is at Cobo Hall. Come on, get ready for springtime, February 2nd through 10th.
And so the Detroit Red Wings lead the St. Louis Blues 2-0. The Red Wings having outshot St. Louis 11-8 in the first period and 14-6 in the second period. And so the overall shots and goal, Detroit 25 and the St. Louis Blues 14. Now the job facing the Red Wings is to come out here and play the third period as they did the first two. Out of town, we'll check the board for you again. The New York Rangers have defeated the Washington Capitals by a score of 6-3. In the third period at the Island in New York, it's the Buffalo Sabres and the New York Islanders 2-2. Philadelphia has beaten the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's a final now, 4-0. And the Red Wings again can look at that board, and if they could hang on here tonight, would move to within a couple points of Pittsburgh in the battle for third place in the Norris division. Atlanta has defeated Hartford by a score of 5-3. At Minnesota, the game just starting the third period, I would think, is now 1-1. The Minnesota North Stars tonight, they're at home to Vancouver. Chicago Blackhawks in the third period leading Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2. This afternoon, the Boston Bruins won their game. They defeated Quebec 7-2. This is one of those nights where there are 10 hockey games around the National Hockey League. That means only one team in the 21-team league is idle, and that's the Edmonton Flyers.
You know,
Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton Oilers, and they have been winning hockey games and have been scoring a lot of goals. They defeated Winnipeg last night 9-2 out in Edmonton. Prior to that, I know they give LA quite a thrashing. I think 7-1. They beat Toronto 8-3, so they're scoring goals.
They moved up from, they were falling around in last place in the Smythe division. They've moved all the way up to third now.
You know, and they have that young sensation, the boy that played in World Hockey, but he's, I think, just turned 19 last week, Wayne Gretzky. He has moved up third in the overall league scoring. He scored 30-some goals. It's just a tremendous season, and there was some talk that he mightn't be that big a scorer in the National League because he's about 5'11" and only weighs maybe 160, 65 pounds, but he really can do tricks with a puck.
He's a very heady hockey player.
He is their franchise, let me tell you that, and will be for many years. I think he signed a 21-year contract.
Will do it again, and when the St. Louis Blues come into Detroit's Joe Louis Sports Arena tomorrow night with our radio broadcast at 6:55, that will start a 7-game home stretch for the Wings. They won't hit the road again until the 20th of February. Over 2 weeks away when they will be at Pittsburgh, and that'll be our next telecast here on Channel 50. Both teams are at full strength as the third period is about to get underway. Rogie Vachon in the Detroit goal. And it's Mike Liut in the net for St. Louis. Play went into the Detroit zone. Very long. Cleared it back out center ice. Again, the wings start with two big fellas on the wings. John Hillworth tipped it into the St. Louis end. Jim Korn's on the other wing with Dennis Polonich at center ice. Keogh was tied up by Hillworth. Polonich dug the puck loose. Boy, Korn is standing all by himself out in front of that St. Louis goal, but the puck was held in the corner. Toronto Maple Leafs have lost to the Chicago Blackhawks. Final score there, 5-4. Toronto made a fight out of it. Dennis Polonich in the circle off to the left of the St. Louis goal goes in against Fedorko. 2-0 Detroit leads. 2 goals by Willie Huber. Puck dumped ahead just too far for Blair Chapman. Off to the side of the Detroit goal. Rogie Vachon plays it. Vachon into the corner for Barry Long. Long's pass broken up by Sutter. Long will chase it in behind the Detroit net again. A rolling puck. He has trouble with it. Long bumped in along the board. Still worked it ahead for Jim Korn, and Korn played it beyond Hillworth. Hillworth went digging after it, but it's over 2 lines and offside. So they'll come back into the Detroit end for the face-off, and the Wings and St. Louis both make the player change. Dale McCourt coming out with Ogrodnik and Mike Foligno, Willie Huber and Greg Jolly. Larry Patey's got Turnbull on one wing, and over on the other side is Mike Crombie. Rick LaPointe, Komodowski back along the St. Louis defense. The play just inside the Detroit line. Now this is Komodowski at center ice, dumping it along the boards, going after it, Greg Jolly. Jolly dished it off to Ogrodnik. He took a bump. Dale McCourt didn't get it out the first time. It's kept in. Here's Patey. And then Patey was checked by Ogrodnik. The puck came out center ice. Komodowski clearing it right back in. That's John Ogrodnik, the rookie, who is definitely not out of place here in the National Hockey League. Clearing it to Foligno, and ahead now to Dale McCourt. Ogrodnik coming up after him. He was dumped to the ice as he cut over the line and couldn't get to McCourt's pass. Larry Patey heading out. Patey of St. Louis bringing it out now to center ice. Playing it off to the side of the Detroit goal. Vachon cleared it into the corner. Mike Foligno. His pass tipped right back to Vachon, and Greg Jolly goes in behind his own goal. Mike Foligno with it. It's tipped back out center ice. Jolly gets it away to Dale McCourt. He and Ogrodnik. Here's Ogrodnik with a shot, and coming out, Liut made the save. It bounced high in the air, goes into the corner. Crombie being chased there by Foligno. It's in behind the St. Louis goal. Rick LaPointe bumped off the puck by Ogrodnik. It came back to Jolly at the blue line. His pass broken up. It's loose in front. There's McCourt with a shot, and Liut stopped that. Right back to McCourt. He drove another one right into Crombie. Dale McCourt taken to the ice, and coming out with it now, that's Turnbull. Dale McCourt with 2 great opportunities. Play broken up by Willie Huber. Ed Keogh back at his own blue line. Now it's dumped by Braunscheidel deep into the Detroit zone. Danny LeBratton covered up for the moment, and the shot whistled wide by Zook. Mike Foligno cleared it to the line, not out. Puck driven into the corner. That's Babbage putting it out in front, knocked away. Good play by Huber. Willie Huber was stripped. It comes out center ice, Foligno with it. Now Mike Foligno goes over the line with LeBratton. Wings are changing on the move. Play broken up. Coming right back down the ice, Tony Curry. Curry playing it into the corner, going in after it, Peter Mahavlich. His pass came out center ice. Keogh holds it there. We've played 2 minutes, 45 seconds of the third period, 2-0 Detroit. Barry Long playing it on the left side for Danny LeBratton. He failed to work it out. Long will take it in behind his own goal. Into the corner, too far for Reed Larson. It's still there. Mike Foligno is still on the ice. He's not been able to get off. Here's a quick pass. Peter Mahavlich tipped it, but not out. It's loose to Zook. Here's Babbage with it. Babbage turned away from one check, back to Keogh, and got away from it. And he chases it back out center ice. It was Tony Curry as Foligno was coming off the ice, took a swipe at him. Play goes into the corner in the St. Louis zone. Curry has it there. Played it into the corner, Reed Larson. Larson was checked before he could work it out. Now that's Zook with it. Mike Zook, dumped by Peter Mahavlich, and it's taken by Larson. Larson's pass to Nedemansky. He failed to work it out, and now the checking of the St. Louis Blues at the wings inside. It came all the way back into the St. Louis end. Braunscheidel tried to work it away from Danny LeBratton. Peter Mahavlich tipped it in toward the corner. That's Mike Zook going in behind his own goal. Now Zook trying to work away from Netamansky. Peter Mahavlich takes over at center ice. Peter Mahavlich dumping it back in. The Wings again changing on the move. It's Braunscheidel is in behind his own goal. Braunscheidel had Bratton all tied up. That's Ed Kia, number 17 of St. Louis. Now Kia, he's got Chapman on the move. The pass went behind Chapman. It'll be touched by Korn. There'll be an icing call. And the play back into the St. Louis end, and we'll be back with a face-off in a moment.
Hi, I'm Sid Abel. Some of my old teammates are going to join me on February the 21st at Olympia to play the final game ever played there. Names like Gordie Howe and Ted Lindsay, Bill Gadsby, Blackjack Stewart, Ebby Goodfellow, Roger Crozier, so many more. And it's going to be a fun night for everyone. Tickets are available at Randolph Travel, Hudson Outlets, and of course, Cobo Arena.
Try the bursting with flavor hot dogs with a quality difference you can taste. Great American brand from Peschke. Paul Woods with Bolduc and Errol Thompson, Willie Huber and Jim Korn. Now that's Sutter clearing it out to center ice. Korn takes it at his own blue line. Jim Korn almost dropped it on Federko's stick. Taken away by Errol Thompson to Bolduc on the right wing. The two of them move in, a drop pass for Thompson. He backhanded the shot. The Utes stopped that. It went in behind the goal. Thompson was dumped to the ice, and here come the Blues out. Quick pass up to Federko, and Korn came back to cut him off. Jim Korn, who's played up on the wing and back on the defense. Lost it in the corner, and covering up will be Willie Huber. Huber ahead now to Paul Woods. Three of the Wings come out. On the left side, Errol Thompson over the line. He fistled that shot wide. Bolduc will hold it in. Danny Bolduc sent it into the corner, spun around by Sutton. And it comes out now to Chapman. Chapman bounces it out center ice. Federko handles it there. Bernie Federko pulling up at the blue line. Federko playing it off to the side of the goal. That's Chapman being checked by Korn. Vachon came out, tipped it away. Barry Turnbull put it out in front. Chapman goes into the corner. And his pass broken up by Dale McCord. McCord ahead now to Bolduc. Bolduc to Ogrodnik over the line. John Ogrodnik holds it there. Now Ogrodnik goes to the circle. Took his shot right through the goal mouth. Greg Jolly at the blue line. Jolly fired the shot. That went off Ogrodnik into the corner. Actually hit Maxwell. It came back to the line for Jolly. Let another one go. Liutte made the save. Liutte another save. And hammering away at it was Ogrodnik, and Liutte just stood right there and stopped him cold. And you are watching Red Wing Hockey on TV 50.
And Mr. Liutte not only made the original save, but then two shots at the rebound by Ogrodnik. He really went after this puck, and he was getting wood on it. Then he finally got slashed up high on his arm, but there was no penalty call.
So the face-off will stay to the left of the St. Louis goal. The Wings now with 31 shots. St. Louis has 14. The Wings have outshot them 6-0 here in the third period. We are at the 5-minute and 50-second mark. Dale McCourt lost the draw to Larry Beatty. In behind his own goal, Braunscheidel. Now he dumps it off for Kia. Ed Kia's pass at center ice. Foligno stopped it there and cleared it right back in. Liutte grabs it, drops it off for his defenseman Kia. 2-0, the Wings lead. 2 goals by Huber. Now coming out again, St. Louis out at center ice. Play broken up by Foligno, picked up again, and they take it in offside. 2 of the forwards, Patey and Turnbull, both in ahead of the puck carrier. We'll be back with a face-off in a moment.
Who's got the best new car warranty at no extra cost?
All cars are covered by a limited warranty, but nobody's car is covered by a full 12-month, 12,000-mile warranty except the new American Motors Concord, AMC Spirit, and AMC Pacer. All covered by the Buyer Protection Plan with the best warranty because it covers every part of your new car, even if it wears out. All at no extra cost.
American Motors, built for today, built to last for tomorrow.
Willie Huber with 2 goals in the second period is 9th and 10th on the season. One a power play, the other shorthanded, and it's 2-0 Detroit. Now the play goes into the Detroit end. Very long, knocked it away and bounces it back out center ice. Back after it, Braunscheidel to Ed Kia. Kia handed it back to Braunscheidel and skipped off him into the corner. Peter Mahavlich was chasing in. Here now is Kia. His pass bounced around crazily in front of the St. Louis goal, cleared to an open wing. And the crowd's starting to get in their club a little bit. Crombie laid it back into his own end. Braunscheidel goes after it. Now to Edkia. Pass intercepted by Mahavlich. Peter Mahavlich tried to kick it to Danny LeBratton, but that was knocked away. Now Crombie failed to get away from very long, and coming back, Reed Larson. Larson off to LeBratton. He has Nedemansky on the right side. Now Big Ned ahead to LeBratton. He moves in with Dennis Polonich, and coming out of the net, Liu drove it into the corner. Polonich after a rolling puck, but it'll be taken by Komodowski. This is Mike Crombie down the right wing with a long shot that Vachon grabs off. Dumping it into the corner, out on the right side for Polonich. Dennis Polonich will take it in, off right out in front of his own goal. Now Polonich ahead to Nedemansky. Over on the right side, he just dumped it into the St. Louis end, and they go for the player change. Wayne Babbage. Now Babbage handed it off to Komodowski, right back to Babbage. Jim Korn tied him up. Willie Huber kicked it back into his own zone, then went in and tied up two men. Curry handed it out in front to Babbage. It came loose. There's a shot right on by Lapointe and grabbed off by Vachon.
That was one of the few times that the Wings got a little careless inside their blue line. They had three players over along the board. Just a miscue on who was going to handle the puck. Rogie makes sure of it by just going down on his hands and knees, smothering the puck to get a face-off.
Little more than 12 minutes to go here in the third period. The Wings lead 2-0. Detroit now with Peter Mahavlich coming out to take the face-off. John Hillworth has gone to the Detroit bench, and Dennis Polonich over there for a new stick. Well, Bobby Crom, despite the fact he's used 6 defensemen tonight, has still gone with 4 lines. He has moved Big Jim Korn up and down on the left wing, back along the defense again. Peter Mahavlich, who was on there to take the face-off, is waved out of the circle now by the linesman. Dennis Polonich comes in to face Dunlop. Puck out in front, and that was broken up by Korn. Shot hit a skate, goes into the corner. Curry and Huber bump in along the boards. Huber got it loose for Mahavlich, and Mahavlich got tied up with the referee. There's a shot bouncing around, and finally Huber whacked it to the line. Here's Lapointe. Lapointe drove the shot. That hit Vachon on the mask, and he's down.
He's down. That high rising shot caught Rogie right up on the mask. Lefty Wilson's out there.
He went down in a heap, Vachon did. And that was a play, Sid, that actually got started because the puck got tangled up in the referee's
That's right.
skates.
The play would have been out of the zone, but it was a hard, high-rising shot from back about 35 or 40 feet. It's just a case where the play was right through the middle, and you can see Rogie. There's no screen, really, and it hit him straight.
You know, when you've got that mask on, you don't usually get cut, but they're taking a towel out there, which would indicate that he did.
Thank goodness he did have the mask on. Just think years ago, Bruce goaltenders played without masks, and there would be a case that...
I can't believe it anymore when you stop back to think about it. I guess there weren't that many slap shots in ice hockey, but...
and the shots were, as a rule, lower, but we always had that chance of a deflection. I was thinking, we were talking to Gup Worsley in Toronto last Saturday. He was one of the last ones that would put a mask on, and
did he put one on?
He finally put one on, yes.
Rogie's on his knees now, and Lefty Wilson attending to him.
I was looking to see where Jimmy Rutherford is.
He was out skating around. I think he's come back to the bench.
Yes, he is. So Rogie must be all right.
Red Wings lead the game 2-0. Rogie Vachon has held the Blues off. They have fired 17 shots in his direction. The last one was, I think, far and away the closest they have come to scoring. And Rogie, who really was screened on the shot, stopped it flush on the mask. So while they continue to work on Rogie Vachon, who seemingly is going to be okay, we'll pause now for this message.
This bud's for every man who works with fire and steel.
This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this bud's for you.
The laughs are on us. Benny Hill at 11:30 and Make Me Laugh at 12, Monday through Friday nights, right here on TV 50. Rogie Vachon up on his feet now. I think Mr. Vachon is going to have a little headache tonight on the airplane heading home.
I would think so. I would just say that Rogie Vachon is saying, boy, what a saver wearing a mask. Appears though he got hit right in the forehead.
Between a serious injury. Take another look at how it hit him.
The play, Willie Huber whacks at the puck here and doesn't get it out. He really golfed it, but it stopped right on the blue line. And just watch the point. There's LaPointe take a shot now.
And he can shoot a puck.
Yes, and it's a high rising shot. Willie goes down, it goes up over Huber's legs. And if you watch Rogie now, he's looking straight ahead and it hits him right. He ducked his head just before it hit by the looks of it. But it hit him flush on the mask and bounced away. And a surprising thing, Greg Jolly would have had a clean-cut breakaway had there not been a stoppage of play. All St. Louis players had moved in so deep that Jolly had the puck at the blue line ready to go with it.
11 minutes, 48 seconds to go here in the third period. Now Ed Kia handed it back on the blue line. That shot deflected just wide of the goal. Taken off the boards by Ogrodnik. He didn't get it out. Driven back into the corner, Reed Larson circling in behind Vachon. Left wing pass, and Ogrodnik starts out with Dale McCord. Foligno on the right wing. The pass to Foligno, and he's offside, cutting into the St. Louis end.
The big thing to be aware of now, St. Louis probably will shoot at every opportunity they get, just in the hopes that Rogie Vachon has been stunned a little bit. Rogie's
Well, he was
skating
stunned.
around.
When he went down, he was...
Oh, yes, he was probably out.
Face off in the center ice zone between McCourt and Patey. 11.5 minutes to play, third period. McCourt wins the draw cleanly. Larson hands it off to Long along the boards, and Ogrodnik shoots it in behind the St. Louis net. Liut stops it there for his defenseman, and Braunscheidel starts out. Here's Braunscheidel carrying out to center ice, being bothered by Foligno. Rolled it along the boards. In after it now, Reed Larson. Falling down, Foligno couldn't get to it. That's Braunscheidel putting it out in front, and Barry Long came in to knock it away, and Foligno starts McCord out. Ogrodnik trailing. McCord over the line, drops it for Ogrodnik. Here's Ogrodnik being checked, couldn't get the shot away. Barry Long took a swing at it and came back out center ice. Long covered up on Crombeam there. Then he bumped Patey off the puck, and here's McCourt, right wing pass for Foligno. He fired that one wide. And it came off the boards all the way back out center ice. Going after it, Chapman, but Larson there first. Reed Larson turning away from Chapman. Now ahead to McCourt. McCourt a good move, but he lost it. Here's Larson bringing it back in. Larson turned around, still got it loose. Foligno slid it just wide of the open side. Mike Foligno taking a bump from Kia. Dale McCourt tried to dig it loose. That puck is in behind the net. The whistle stops the play. Face off in the circle to the right of the St. Louis goal.
You notice, Bruce, there appears to be a lot of hooking and grabbing. They're pulling people off the puck. Mike Foligno on 3 or 4 occasions tonight has been partially in the clear, but somebody's always either grabbing his arm or have a hook up under his arm to pull him away from the puck.
We now have Paul Wood centering Bolduc and Thompson, with Korn and Huber back along the defense in that big line of Federico Chapman and Brian Sutter up front for St. Louis. This is Rick LaPointe. Now LaPointe bringing it back out center ice, played it off the boards, and the play was well offside as Sutter went over the line. They'll bring it back inside the St. Louis blue line for the faceoff.
Big Willie with his 9th and 10th goals this season. Both terrific shots. One just inside the right post, and the second one on the glove side on the left post up under the top bar.
Paul Woods won the face-off. Harold Thompson backhands it into the corner in the St. Louis end. That's Brian Maxwell going in behind his own goal, playing it out on the right wing to Chapman. Center ice knocked away by Huber, then picked up again by the Blues. LaPointe playing it off to the side of the Detroit goal. Vachon comes out, hands it now to Huber. Willie Huber scoops it ahead. Paul Woods, he's got a lot of speed, but so is Sutter, who's coming back with him. And Sutter chopped the skates from him out from underneath Woods. And here now is Federico going back into the Detroit zone. Huber knocked it away the first time. Chapman knocked it down with a high stick that time. It goes in along the boards. That's Sutter. Ian Woods went to the corner. It goes in back of the goal. Willie Huber dumps it over on the right side, and Danny Bolduc bangs it off the boards, and it bounces and rolls back into the St. Louis end. Detroit changing on the move now as Rick LaPointe again just dumped it deep into the Detroit zone. Babbage went in after him. Wayne Babbage's pass came out in front, bouncing, and Huber controlled it. Played it along the board. St. Louis wrapped it in behind the goal. Huber goes after it again. On the right side to Bolduc, and Bolduc again scoops it out center ice. Back into the St. Louis end. We have played 11 minutes of the third period. Detroit leads it 2-0. Here's Maxwell. Brian Maxwell on the move now into the Detroit end. That's Nedemansky going in after it. Clearing it along the boards. Babbage sent it back to the blue line. Ed Keogh with a shot, and he fired it wide, and Vachon was screened on that all the way. St. Louis applying pressure now. Puck bouncing around. Nedemansky has it. Big Ned ahead now to Tommy Bergman. Bergman on the left side. Danny LeBratton picks it up. Here's LeBratton putting it right out in front, and Tommy Bergman then slid it right back to LeBratton. He's got Mahovlich open. Peter Mahovlich hit the goal post. Drove it off the post. And coming right back now, Dunlop. Dunlop clearing it in. Babbage trying to move in. Vachon stopped him. And the rebound taken away by Jolly. Big move by Vachon. Here's Jolly. Jolly goes back in. Greg Jolly going into the corner with it. Jolly dumped it out in front. Mahovlich couldn't reach it. It comes out center ice, and Jim Korn has it. And Korn shot it back in offside. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
How does the Bank of the Commonwealth help me? Well, I got my checking and my savings there, but more important, when I need help, they really understand me. I mean, this guy here, he's studying law, and this bum, oh, he's into medicine. I mean, every old man wants his kid to do better than he did. So, between my back and my bank, my kid's got a future. Hey, Doc, start operating.
Trying hardest to help. That's the Bank of the Commonwealth.
My son, the judge.
Wayne Babbage just broke right through the middle, and he was in the clear. He was partially hooked for a while by Bergman, but Vachon come up and made by far his biggest save, and there's the puck right out in the open, but it was cleared by Detroit.
Now Barry Long at center ice, gives it to Jim Korn. Korn dumped it toward the St. Louis blue line. This is Komodowski. Playing it off the boards. Reed Larson, a bouncing, rolling puck, and Long deflecting it out. Jim Korn's pass, Hillworth takes it in. Here's John Hillworth into the circle, put it right out in front. And, a sliding save by Liut as Dennis Polonich had the chance. Barry Long took the shot, and that hit the side of the goal. Komodowski in behind his own net. Komodowski handed it off. Beatty clears it ahead. Coming down the ice, Perry Turnbull. He's stopped by Larson. Larson's pass so picked off. Rick LaPointe brings it back in. Goes to the corner. Dennis Polonich comes up with it. Polonich checked in behind the goal. Larson covers up as Hillworth. John Hillworth didn't get it out. Now it'll be Larson in behind the Detroit net again. Reed Larson double teamed in the corner. Polonich comes in to take the puck. Fell down on top of it. The play stays deep in the Detroit zone.
And Detroit wanted a line change, so this was a good move.
Well, boys and girls, you be sure to get your free hockey stick. Now, before we get into that, let's think just a minute, because they have a little ruckus going on in the corner deep in the Detroit zone. Polonich, you might guess, is a good part of the middle of it. So is Big John Hillworth in there. And now the two linesmen, who are also in the middle of it, are moving them apart. And we'll tell you again that you can get your free hockey stick at the Red Wings Philadelphia game, the Joe Louis Arena. It'll be a matinee game, February 9th. Sticks are provided by Louisville. Will go to the first 2,500 kids, 14 and under, who come to the game. Sid, I mentioned a little while ago the Pittsburgh Penguins had been having their problems. When we went into Minnesota a couple of weeks ago, the North Star teams in the National Hockey League, boy, they were really on their way. When Detroit beat them, they have in that period of time in their last 7 games not won a game. They've lost 5, they've tied 2, and now they've fallen behind in their game at home tonight to Vancouver, 4-3. Quick shot by Chapman. Went wide. Mike Foligno brought it out center ice. Foligno kicks it ahead, tears after it. Drove it into the St. Louis end. Ed Kia heads back of his own goal. Mike Foligno stayed right with him, and McCourt, oh, he got the loose puck in front and didn't get the shot away. Puck driven back into the Detroit end. Ogrodnik heads back after it. Swings in behind Vachon. Right side pass, Foligno just tipped it away from Maxwell. It slides back to the St. Louis line. We have 6.5 minutes to play in the third period. That's Blair Chapman. Chapman lost it there. Mike Foligno handed it off to Ogrodnik while he was laying on the ice. Bounced right back into the St. Louis zone. Brian Maxwell in behind his own goal. Now Maxwell's pass ahead to Federko. Here's Federko. It's taken away by Dale McCourt on a good move. McCourt tried to center it. That's picked away by Kia. Ed Kia head to Chapman, and then coming in, Ogrodnik knocked it away from him. Greg Jolly. Jolly off to Willie Huber. Huber just sent it to the St. Louis line. Kia played it back into the Detroit zone. There'll be an icing call if Jolly gets there first. He did. And the play back into the St. Louis end, and we'll be back after we pause for this.
Little Caesar's Pizza, tastiest in town. A winner anywhere you slice it, all the way around.
The carry-outs are good and hot, great for nighttime snacks. Or sit down at Little Caesar's, just order and relax. If you want variety, there's a family in for you. It's a winner, come in and see Little Caesar's.
Look for our ad in the news and Free Press TV books for a free pizza. Sid, I guess for those fans who weren't completely aware of it, the Red Wings brought the youngster up from Sherbrooke junior hockey team. And he had his 3-game tryout, which is allowed by the National Hockey League and by the junior hockey.
He played very well. Underage junior, Rajan Kluche. We'll see him in the Red Wing uniform
next year.
If not anymore this year, we'll certainly see him next year. He is a cool-looking kid, good size, skates very well. Got an assist in one of the Red Wing goals in 3-game stint that he was up for.
Now the face-off to the left of the St. Louis goal. Paul Wood sent it right into Thompson. He took a backhander, knocked away before it got through. Cleared ahead to Babbage. Moving with it now is Dunlop into the Detroit end, but it was very long that stopped that, and Bolduc heads right back. He was checked before he could get loose. Bolduc kicked it right back into the St. Louis zone, came back out center ice and picked it up again. Now 5.5 minutes to go. Play went back into the St. Louis zone, in behind his own goal, Komodowski. Neil Komodowski, former Los Angeles King, ahead to Babbage. Wayne Babbage turned around by Paul Woods. Then he just fired it into the Detroit zone and very long, shoots it beyond Bolduc, and Komodowski's back inside the St. Louis line again. This is Rick LaPointe. Tip back to Komodowski. He lifted it to center ice. That's Reed Larson playing it back into the St. Louis zone, and LaPointe brings it out. It'll be played in behind the Detroit goal. Vachon stops it for Larson. Reed Larson was checked right there. Centering pass, knocked back into the corner with Larson going after it. Taken in along the boards by Babbage. The face-off will be to the right side of the Detroit goal. Big Ten basketball, the Michigan State Spartans take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. That'll be next Saturday at 8 o'clock on TV 50.
I just can't say often enough. I know there's 4 minutes and 53 seconds to go, but the Wing Hockey Club has checked tonight better than they probably have any game this year. They've just picked up their wings and come back with them. They've given the defensemen a chance to stay up at the blue line, and they've been breaking plays up so nicely.
That's Dale McCourt banging it off the boards down the ice. There'll not be icing on this. It doesn't go far enough. Cleared out now to Chapman. Blair Chapman is passed to Federko. Federko went around Korn. Goes into the corner after it. In behind the goal, and Korn went right with him. Took it away. Then Federko picked it up again. Here's a chance for Kia with a shot, and Vachon knocked it away. Nedemansky took it off the boards and just rolls it back down the ice with Kia after it. 4 minutes, 20 seconds to play. Third period. Detroit leads 2-0, and this fellow with the puck, Willie Huber, has both goals. Here's Jim Korn playing it ahead now to Danny LeBreton. LeBreton turned around, tipped it ahead to Mahavlich. He shoots it into the St. Louis zone. Heading back after it, Braunscheidel. Turning off to the right of his goal, clears it now. Ed Kia. Kia takes the long shot off the boards. It'll be held in. That's Sutter playing it to Federko. And Willie Huber knocked it away from him when charging after it. It's still loose. Federko has it. Now Federko trying to work away from Huber. Huber sent him to the ice. Peter Mahavlich played it along the boards to John Ogrodnik. He got it loose, and he's got Jim Korn moving out. Korn Drops it back for Nedomansky. Out in front with a shot. Liut made the save, and on the rebound, he knocked it away from Ogrodnik. And Liut has been the major factor in holding this game as close as it is. Reed Larson, a good move away from his check. Now Larson goes back in with Ogrodnik. Larson going through with a backhander, he scores! And the Wings lead it 3-0 as Reed Larson carries in.
And defensemen have scored all 3 goals. Willie Huber the first 2. Now Reed Larson on a beautiful play where he stick-handled his way over the blue line, got over on his backhand, and he puts this puck in off the post, I believe, the right goal post. He's on his backhand, takes a little flip shot, beats him on the short side.
So Reed gets his 12th goal on the year, an unassisted goal at 16 minutes and 42 seconds of this third period.
And that should put the icing on the cake, Bruce. 3 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
Well, I hope you're right. Boy, the Wings came close just prior to that, and I'll tell you, Korn made a heck of a play for Nedomansky.
He certainly did. Big Ned can't buy one now. He just...
Now this is Greg Jolly moving back into his own zone over on the right side for Foligno. Foligno whacked it away to Dale McCourt. McCourt starts Tommy Bergman out. Here's Tommy from center ice with a shot. Liut handles that. Liut played it along the boards. Turnbull failed to work it out, and that shot by McCourt was knocked away. It came out center ice. That's Mike Zook over on the left side. Turnbull had to go back after it. Ogrodnik knocked down his pass, and here's Ogrodnik with a good move over the line. A rolling, bouncing puck. He knocks it down and carries it in behind the goal. John Ogrodnik back on the line to Tommy Bergman. Shoots it into the corner. Foligno chases it in. Foligno in behind the goal. Stand on it the first time, dug it out again. Checked in along the boards by Zook, and coming up with it is Lapointe. Now Rick Lapointe, long pass. Here now's a chance. Coming over the line, Babbage with a shot. Vachon the save. Zook held it in. Took a backhander, was knocked away by Ogrodnik. And the Wings shoot it back out center ice. We have 2 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the hockey game. The puck went up into the crowd. And the Wings leading it 3-0. We shall be back after this.
What's the big news about our 1980 Jeep CJ? MFG, more fun per gallon.
With a new 4-cylinder engine and drivetrain, the 1980 Jeep CJ delivers 21 EPA estimated MPG, plus all the gutsy performance CJs are famous for.
With the Jeep CJ, you get fuel economy you can be proud of. The best of any four-wheel drive vehicle built in America.
See all the new 1980s at your Metro Detroit AMC Jeep dealer.
St. Louis, the Red Wings lead 3-0. Time running out on the hockey game, a little more than 2 minutes to play. Jim Korn. Korn's pass knocked away by Kia. Dunlop cleared it back into the Detroit zone, going in after it, Willie Huber. Now Huber. Quick pass ahead to Paul Woods. He bats it out center ice. Neil Komodowski hands it there to Kia. Kia's pass picked off by Dunlop. Trying to go over the line was Crombeam. He did. He was given a bump, and Paul Woods starts right back. He's got Bolduc on the right side. Paul Woods now just played it off the glass in behind the St. Louis net with 1 minute and 35 seconds to play. Kia comes out. Ed Kia handing it off on the left side. Tony Curry played it back into the Detroit end. He was dumped as he crossed the line. Vachon cleared it into the corner. Korn takes his man in. That's Dunlop and holds him there. Face off in the circle to the right of the Detroit goal with now 1 minute and 21 seconds to play in this hockey game.
If I heard right, Bruce, 15,643 fans here. A lot of them are starting to leave the building now, feeling that the Blues, they've been one of the hottest clubs in the National League lately, and for the Wings to come in here right at the time with 1 minute and 21 seconds, the Wings have had 40 shots at Mike Lewitt in the St. Louis goal, and Rogie Vachon has handled 19.
St. Louis has lost only 3 of their last 14 hockey games. Here's Reed Larson. Larson bumped in along the boards by Chapman. Puck came up ahead now to Peter Mahavlich. Mahavlich controls it. Big Peter making use of his weight along the boards. Now it's Reed Larson with it. Larson dumped it to the blue line, knocked down there by Chapman. Blair Chapman shooting it back in, 1 minute to play in the hockey game. Centering pass didn't get through, ended up in the crowd. So now Detroit, if they can hang on and win it, and they have a 3-goal lead with 54 seconds to play, should move ahead of the Quebec Nordiques, and the Toronto Maple Leafs will go in against the St. Louis Blues at the Joe Louis Arena in a return match tomorrow. And that game becomes more important to them because they have 2 games in hand to St. Louis, and they'll trail them by just 4 points.
Oh, this has been a big game for them, and they have played a solid hockey game all night long.
Well, the sign of a good hockey team to me, Sid, is winning on the road, and the Wings have been doing that. Look out, right out in front. Sutter was wide open, and Vachon stopped him. Play comes back out center ice. Cleared back into the Detroit end. Way offside was Chapman.
And good goaltending wins hockey games. Vachon hasn't had that many shots, but he has made some big saves when he's had to.
Shots on goal at this stage, 40 for Detroit and 20 for St. Louis. The Wings outshot St. Louis 11-8 in a scoreless first period, 14-6 when Huber scored 2 in the second. And they have outshot them 15-6 up to now in the third period. This is Rick Lapointe. 30 seconds remaining in the hockey game. The play deep in the St. Louis end. Now Lapointe starts out. Over on the left wing, it's cleared ahead. Coming out with it now is Chapman. Into the Detroit zone, Sutter. Held in along the boards by Reed Larson. Adamansky cleared it on the left wing. Peter Mahovlich got control, slides it down the ice. Danny LeBreton really digging after it. He and Maxwell. Maxwell tipped it ahead for Lapointe. 7 seconds to go. Here's a long pass to Chapman. Chapman trying to work around Long. Long blocked his shot. Puck slid right to Vachon. He grabs it with 1 second to play in the game.
Very
Long is shaken up a bit.
Yes, he felt that shot of Chapman's. He's getting up slowly and limping around. Roby's been very alert on jumping on loose pucks that get into the crease area tonight. Chapman just come over the line. Very Long went down in front of him, and he got the full shot from Chapman. The rebound bounced over towards the front of the net. Rogie just come out and smothered it with that big glove. 1 second, 1 face-off, and Rogie Vachon is that close to having another shutout.
So the play stays in the Detroit zone as the puck is dropped. It goes to Vachon, who clears it away, and the Red Wings have come up with a big victory here, and Rogie Vachon has racked up his 4th shutout of the season as the Red Wings go out to congratulate him. And the Wings now have continued a great stretch on the road, having won 10, lost 13, and tied 5, but even more important, have won 6 out of 9. Am I right?
Yeah.
Got to double check that. I'll do that. Well, after we give you the third period scoring summary. It's brought to you by Magnavox and Fretter Appliance Stores. Willie Huber had scored on a power play and a shorthanded goal, too, in the second period. And in the third period, the only goal came when Reed Larson skated in, fired a backhander by Mike Liut. That came at 16:42, and it made the score 3-0 for the Detroit Red Wings, and that's the way it ended. The end of the game, Detroit 3 and St. Louis 0. We'll be back to the Checker Dome in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Sid Abel. A big game coming up, the last game ever to be played at Olympia, February the 21st. Red Wing old-timers versus the Red Wings. Names like Gordie Howe, Ted Lindsay, Alec Del Vecchio, Bill Gadsby, Ebby Goodfellow. Just a fun night for everyone. A game that's going to be played on the 21st of February. Tickets are available at Randolph Travel, Hudson's, and of course, Cobo Arena.
What's the big news about our 1980 Jeep CJ? MFG, more fun per gallon.
With a new 4-cylinder engine and drivetrain, the 1980 Jeep CJ delivers 21 EPA estimated MPG, plus all the gutsy performance CJs are famous for.
With the Jeep CJ, you get fuel economy you can be proud of. The best of any four-wheel drive vehicle built in America.
See all the new 1980s at your Metro Detroit AMC Jeep dealer.
Mr. Green?
Yeah.
You need any help?
Mm-mm.
Want my Coke?
No.
Really, you can have it.
Okay. Thanks.
That's the way it should be. I like to see.
See you around.
The whole world smiling with me. Coca-Cola as life. Have a Coke in it.
Wow, thanks, Mean Joe.
Ring, ring.
Mama?
Ring, ring.
Okay, Mama. Who's there?
Jamaica.
Jamaica who?
Jamaica called to your mama lately?
Reach out and touch someone.
You had it cut?
Real short. I love it. Sounds nice. Your birthday present may be a little late.
Reach out.
Oh, wait till you see it. It's black, turquoise, and white. Love it.
Call up and make their day.
Reach out and touch someone far away. Give them a call.
Well, to indicate how well the Red Wings control this hockey game tonight, the shots on goal show Detroit 40 and the St. Louis Blues 20. The Red Wings in the third period continuing the play that they have shown in third period, particularly on the road, outshooting the Blues 15-6 and getting the only goal of the third period, that by Reed Larson. As you mentioned, the defenseman scored all three of the goals. Willie Huber 2 of them, Larson the other. But I thought the big thing for the forwards in this hockey game, Sid, was the fact that they checked and checked all night long.
Bruce, the team was solid from the goal out. I thought Rogie played well. The defense were really solid, and the forwards checked like they haven't checked all year long. They picked up their wings. They come back with them. They didn't at any time go in deep and get trapped, causing a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2 break. They just made sure that someone was covered, and they kept with them all the way back in. It was a game that they were letter perfect, and they scored the defensemen scored the goals, and a very big win for them.
Oh, that it is. Now the Red Wings, having shown that they can win on the road, are going to see what they can do at home. They'll play their next 7 games at the Joe Louis Sports Arena, including one tomorrow night against these same St. Louis Blues. We look forward to having you with us for that one on radio, the All-Star Banquet Monday and the All-Star Game Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, the Washington Capitals and 5 others after that, all in Detroit, before our next away-from-home game, which will be February 20th. So that's it. The final score here at the Checker Dome in St. Louis, the Detroit Red Wings 3, the St. Louis Blues nothing. We invite you to join us February 20th when the Detroit Red Wings will meet the Penguins at Pittsburgh. Until then, this is Bruce Martin along with Sid Abel saying goodbye from St. Louis.
Detroit Red Wing Hockey is brought to you by AMC, your Metro Detroit AMC dealer, featuring the American Eagle. And by Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Peschke, and the all-new Peschke Great American Premium line of products. And by Little Caesars, a winner any way you slice it. And by Bank of the Commonwealth, trying hardest to help.
Meet Boom Boom Jafrian, inventor of the slap shot.
Hey, this is a great new stick from Cooper. You see, Cooper redesigned their stick line from the ice up to give you great balance. It's light enough to really let you feel the puck, and strong enough to stand up to the toughest punishment. So try the new Cooper sticks. So good, they may even be slightly ahead of their time. But then, so was I.
Polyoleum believes your new car shouldn't have to die before its time because of rust and corrosion. That's why your Polyoleum dealer is now offering a lifetime rust-proofing limited warranty against internal rust-through for as long as you keep your new car. No limit on years, no limit on mileage. Your warranty even includes a helpful yearly inspection by a Polyoleum dealer. Give your new car a chance, the chance of a lifetime. The Polyguard rust-proofing system, better than all the rust. Check the yellow pages for the Polyoleum dealer nearest you.
Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin team up with 2 luscious ladies to take on the West in 4 for Texas, Monday on the 8 o'clock movie.
Good evening and welcome to TV 50's Chiller Movie. In tonight's feature, scientists embark upon a mission to restrain a mysterious breed of monster. They find an island overrun with giant snapper turtles, sustained by human blood. Their mission turns to survival on the Island of Terror.
If winter's chilling bite has made your lips chapped and sore, take a moment for Blistex. When a day outdoors results in dry, cracked lips, take a moment for Blistex. And if painful, unsightly cold sores and fever blisters add to your discomfort, take a moment for Blistex. Yes, Blistex is the wonderful medicated lip ointment that helps promote healing and bring fast, soothing relief. And Blistex helps relieve the pain and itching, too. That's why for almost 40 years, people with sore